Chapter 299. Lu Guohua, who was handcuffed, panicked and shouted to Yang Guozhong, "Captain Yang, what are you doing? Is there any misunderstanding?" Yang Guozhong said coldly, "There is no misunderstanding. You know what you have done." Lu Guohua said, "Captain Yang, this must be a misunderstanding. I have been doing my duty and working hard. I really haven't done anything illegal." "Director Lu, it seems that you won't shed a tear until you see the coffin," Qin Haodong said. "But it doesn't matter. I'll let you see the coffin." Then he turned on the laptop in front of him and pressed the play button. Soon, the conversation between James and Lu Guohua came from the speaker. "Director Lu, 2 million yuan has been transferred to your account. As long as you can put Qin Haodong in prison, the money is yours." "Mr. James, this is not easy to do. 2 million yuan is fine, but I want US dollars. Listening to the audio from the computer, Lu Guohua's face turned pale. He never thought that his phone call would be recorded. At the same time, he couldn't figure out how Qin Haodong did it. Why did he record his phone call in advance? Could it be that Qin Haodong knew that he was going to deal with him? After the recording was played, Qin Haodong looked at Lu Guohua and said with a smile, "How about it, Director Lu? Are you satisfied with this gift? Are you surprised?" Lu Guohua was silent. His brain was working fast, thinking about how to find a suitable excuse to explain this matter. "It seems that you are not satisfied," Qin Haodong said. "It doesn't matter. I have more here." Then he sent a few pieces of A4 paper to Lu Guohua. Glancing at what was recorded on it, Lu Guohua's body shook, and he almost fell to the ground. In the past, Huang Weili hired gangsters to beat and suppress leukemia patients who protested. Many cases had constituted assault crimes, but they were all suppressed by him. Because of this, he received $3 million from Wilson's company. At this time, the information in front of him clearly recorded his transactions with Wilson's company, including the record of the $3 million transfer. "How about it? Are you satisfied now? You don't have to find a way to quibble," Qin Haodong said and handed the documents to Yang Guozhong. Lu Guohua's face was ashen. He was silent for a while, but after a while he roared, "Qin, how dare you set me up? If you don't let me get better, you won't get better either." Then he turned to Yang Guozhong and shouted, "I admit that I received $2 million from Wilson, but there is nothing wrong with my law enforcement. Qin Haodong did kill someone. He killed a man from Koryo named Kim Luanhai. I've seen the video James sent me. It's true. We must arrest him." After he finished speaking, everyone's eyes focused on Qin Haodong. Of course, Lu Guohua would be arrested. But if Qin Haodong really killed someone, he would not be able to escape the punishment of the law. Qin Haodong smiled and said to Lu Guohua, "Sometimes what you see is not necessarily true. I'm a doctor. How can I kill people casually? Don't quibble. I saw it all. You kicked Kim Luanhai to death. Although he was a commercial spy, it was also illegal for you to kill him." Lu Guohua roared wildly, "Boy, you can go to prison. I'll be sentenced to 10 or 20 years at most. You've committed murder. Don't think about getting out for the rest of your life. You're thinking too much." Qin Haodong smiled at him, turned his head to a bedroom next to him and said, "Captain Naylan, come out and explain." As soon as the bedroom door opened, two people came out. One was Naylan Wuxia, the captain of the Jiangnan Province Criminal Police Team, and the other was Kim Luanhai, a commercial spy from Koryo. When he saw Kim Luanhai being escorted out by Naylan Wuxia, Lu Guohua was shocked. He had seen Kim Luanhai being kicked to death by Qin Haodong in the video. How could he come back to life in the blink of an eye? Yang Guozhong said to Naylan Wuxia, "Captain Naylan, what's going on?" "Kim Luanhai is suspected of fraud and commercial espionage. He was arrested by Dr. Qin. He just called me to report it, so I came to deal with it." Naylan Wuxia glanced at Lu Guohua and said, "Dr. Qin asked me to wait in the room for a while. He said there was a good show to watch. Now it seems that the show is really wonderful." Qin Haodong said to Lu Guohua, "How about it? Director Lu, what else do you want to say?" Lu Guohua was completely dumbfounded. Only now did he realize that both James and he had been fooled by the young man in front of him. "Dr. Qin will go first." Yang Guozhong waved his hand to his men and said, "Take him away." After Lu Guohua was taken away, Nailan Wuxia asked, Haodong, what are you doing? She was on duty that night, but Qin Haodong called her over, but she didn't tell her what had happened. Lin Ziyuan also asked with a confused face, Yes, Haodong, what's going on? Qin Haodong smiled and asked both of them to sit down. Then he began to tell them slowly. It turned out that after learning that Kim Luanhai was a spy sent by James, he started a new plan. Wilson Company had been operating in Jiangnan for so long, and there must be many forces left by them. If they were not uprooted, there would be trouble in the future. Therefore, when he was on the phone with James, he deliberately put on a show. He pretended to kick Kim Luanhai to death in a fit of anger. In fact, the kick only made Kim Luanhai vomit blood. His injury wasn't as serious as it looked, and he just fainted. After hanging up the phone, he immediately asked Chi Weiner to monitor James' phone. Sure enough, James thought that Qin Haodong had killed Kim Luanhai. So he immediately contacted Lu Guohua of the East City branch and asked him to arrest Qin Haodong for $2 million. Chi Weiner also investigated Lu Guohua's information and found that he had received $3 million in bribes from Wilson Company 7 times. At the same time, he abused his power in suppressing the protests of leukemia patients, so that the injured patients had no place to complain. With this evidence, Qin Haodong directly reported the situation to Shi Kuahai, the head of the Public Security Department. Shi Kuahai immediately arranged Yang Guozhong of the Supervisory Detachment to come to Lin's villa to arrest Kim Luanhai. After listening to him, Nailan Wuxia said, I didn't know that you were really a little fox. You made such a careful plan in such a short time. After thinking about it, she said, Then why did you call me here? Qin Haodong said with a smile, This guy has been a commercial spy for many years. It is said that he is wanted in many countries. He is also a felon. Just take it as a super gift from me. He really wanted to give Kim Luanhai to Nailan Wuxia, but he knew that Lu Guohua would definitely accuse him of deliberately killing Kim Luanhai. So he did not let Nailan Wuxia take him away directly, but stayed in the room for a while. The more Lin Ziyuan looked at Qin Haodong, the more satisfied he was. This son-in-law was really a talent. He had medical skills, brains, and martial arts. With him, his daughter would not suffer. After the explanation, Nailan Wuxia left Lin's villa with Kim Luanhai. Qin Haodong and Lin Ziyuan also went back to their rooms to rest. Early the next morning, the first major event since the establishment of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company took place. The upgraded version of the insurance oral liquid, the blood revival elixir, was officially produced. There were several delicate small boxes on Lin Momo's desk. These boxes were completely carved from camphor wood and looked antique. There were 3 small black pills in each box. They were the blood revival oral liquid that Qin Haodong had modified. The 3 pills together could completely cure leukemia. In order to distinguish it from the blood revival elixir in the cultivation world, it was named the blood revival elixir. Lin Momo picked up a box and looked at it. She asked Lu Yage excitedly, How is it? Have you tested the effect of the medicine? Lu Yage said, I've tested it. I found 3 leukemia patients this morning and let them take the blood revival pill together. The effect is no worse than that of the blood revival oral liquid. After taking the medicine, the 3 people were cured and completely recovered. Great, it seems that we have really succeeded, Lin Momo said. Inform all media units immediately that Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company will hold a new product launch conference at 3 p.m., on time. Okay, I'll inform them now. Lu Yage was also very excited. As the assistant of the president, she had also contributed to the establishment of Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. At the same time, as the mother of a child with leukemia, she was also happy for the 4 million leukemia patients in Huaxia. Wait a minute. Qin Haodong stopped Lu Yage and said, When releasing the news, add one more thing. If any news media unit wants to interview us, they must bring a leukemia patient to try the medicine on the spot. Lin Momo's eyes lit up and she said, Yes, why didn't I think of that? Some people will certainly not believe the effect of our experiment, but the patients brought by the media reporters will be different. If they are cured, no one will question the effect of our medicine. Lu Yage said, That's a good idea. I'll do what Dr. Qin said right away. 10 minutes later, the news that Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company had successfully developed the blood revival elixir was released, causing an explosive sensation on the entire media network. Before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the conference room of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was already full of people. Most of these people were leukemia patients who cared about the blood revival elixir, while the other part was news media reporters from various units and leukemia patients brought by them. At the same time, Qin Haodong contacted Wen Changjiang of Jiangnan Hospital and asked him to arrange professional medical staff to bring blood testing equipment to the conference room. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the press conference began on time. As the president of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, Lin Momo officially announced that the blood revival elixir, which could completely cure leukemia, was officially on the market. After the news was announced, the scene was boiling. A reporter rushed to ask, "President Lin, what's the difference between the blood revival elixir and the blood revival oral liquid? Can this medicine really cure leukemia?" Lin Momo smiled at the reporter and said, "The ingredients of the blood revival elixir and the blood revival oral liquid are exactly the same. Due to technical reasons, the blood revival oral liquid was modified into the blood revival elixir. However, the effect is exactly the same, so you don't have to worry about it. As for the second question, I believe that you have brought leukemia patients here to verify the effect of our blood revival elixir." The reporter pointed to a pale middle-aged man next to him and said, "Yes, I brought my cousin. He has had leukemia for more than 3 years. Then we can verify it on the spot." As soon as Lin Momo waved her hand, a staff member immediately sent a box of exquisitely packaged blood revival elixir to the middle-aged man, followed by a glass of water. The middle-aged man took the blood revival elixir and swallowed it. Then he drank a few mouthfuls of water. At this time, everyone's eyes and the cameras in the reporter's hands were aimed at the middle-aged man, looking forward to witnessing the result after he took the medicine. Chapter 300. Under everyone's gaze, the middle-aged man's face began to slowly turn ruddy, his breathing became smooth, and he looked more and more energetic. About 10 minutes later, the middle-aged man shouted excitedly, "I'm fine. I can feel it. I'm full of strength now. I'm sure I'm cured." Seeing that it was almost time, Lu Yage immediately led the middle-aged man to the monitoring equipment next to her and asked the medical staff of Jiangnan Hospital to start a blood test on him. When the test results came out, the audience was excited. The blood was normal, which meant that the middle-aged man's leukemia had been completely cured. After everyone returned to their positions, the press conference continued. At this time, another reporter asked, "President Lin, although we have seen the effect of the blood revival elixir on this patient, what is the cure rate? Can it reach 100% cure rate?" Lin Momo said, "At today's press conference, Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company will give away 100 blood revival elixirs for free for everyone to try. We'll see the data later to see the cure rate." Next, the staff of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company randomly selected 100 leukemia patients on the scene and gave them the blood revival elixir for free for field experiments. Under the supervision of many media units, the leukemia patients took the blood revival elixir and soon shouted excitedly, feeling that they had gotten rid of leukemia. In the following blood tests, the test results of 100 patients returned to normal. It turned out that the cure rate of the blood revival elixir had reached 100%. After the results came out, a reporter immediately asked, "President Lin, we have seen the effect of the blood revival elixir produced by your company. How much will it be sold in Huaxia?" Lin Momo said, "Dr. Qin once said that he developed the blood revival elixir to help the 4 million leukemia patients in Huaxia relieve their pain. Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company sells it at the cost price, 680 yuan per box." "Oh my god, it's only 680 yuan. It's much cheaper than Baikong Sting. I've been taking Baikong Sting for 2 years and even sold my house. I didn't expect Dr. Qin's medicine to be so cheap. He's really benevolent." Long live Dr. Qin, long live Tangmin Company. After Lin Momo announced the sales price, some of the leukemia patients present cheered, and some cried bitterly. They were all grateful to Qin Haodong. It was this benevolent doctor who finally gave them hope to live. A bespectacled reporter asked, President Lin, I heard that the cost of Chinese herbal medicine is very cheap. Isn't it a little too black-hearted for you to sell it at 680 yuan per box? Before Lin Momo could speak, his words had aroused public anger among the leukemia patients. Nonsense, do you have a brain? A drug that can cure leukemia in one go, 680 yuan is already a cabbage price. Where did you come from? When Baikong Sting was selling for 28,000 yuan a month, why didn't you ask them why they were selling it at such a high price, and that their hearts were too black? I guess he must have been sent by Baikong Sting to make trouble for Dr. Qin. When the reporter saw the emotional patients around him, he suddenly became very nervous, for fear of being attacked by these people. Lin Momo waved her hand, motioning for everyone to be quiet, and then said, In fact, this account is very easy to calculate. You can check the announcement. Lin's group and Dr. Qin jointly invested 2.5 billion yuan, and Dr. Qin personally invested 500 million yuan. The total investment is 3 billion yuan. There are more than 4 million leukemia patients in China, so you can know the cost of each one. The value of Dr. Qin's prescription is not included in this. After she said this, the audience was silent. Now even primary school students could calculate the cost of a box of blood revival elixir. The price of 680 yuan was not high. The reporter was even more ashamed, and left the venue in disgrace. Lin Momo glanced around and continued, As a businessman, I don't agree with this price, because businessmen have to make money. However, the price of the blood revival elixir was set by Dr. Qin. He is a doctor with a benevolent heart. He wants to cure his compatriots, so he set the price at 680 yuan. Long live Dr. Qin. Thank you, Dr. Qin. The leukemia patients and the families of the patients present shouted Qin Haodong's name, expressing their sincere gratitude. After the cheers passed, another reporter asked, Miss Lin, Dr. Qin, I want to ask you. After all, you are now a business, and a business always needs to make money. Don't you want to make money? Of course we want to make money. This time, it was Qin Haodong who answered him. Lin's group has invested so much money, and we have invested so much energy. Of course we need to make money. However, we are not going to make money from our compatriots. We want to make money from other countries. As I said a few days ago, the blood revival elixir produced by Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company will first guarantee the supply of the Chinese market, and then enter the drug market of other countries. Then we will make money. The reporter asked again, Dr. Qin, I want to ask you, how much is the price of the blood revival elixir sold in other countries? Qin Haodong said, 100,000 yuan. 100,000 yuan per box. After he finished speaking, there was another sensation on the scene. 100,000 yuan was more than 100 times higher than 680 yuan. After the shock, people were full of gratitude and admiration for Qin Haodong. The efficacy and value of the blood revival elixir were obvious. It could have made a lot of money in China. It could have been sold for 100,000 yuan, 200,000 yuan, or even more. However, it was only sold for 680 yuan. This was not something that could be described as a conscientious businessman. He was simply a living bodhisattva, who saved the world and saved people. Another reporter asked, Mr. Qin, you just said that the cost of a box of blood revival elixir is about 680 yuan. You suddenly increased the price by more than 100 times. Aren't you a little too black-hearted? Qin Haodong glanced at the man and asked, The cost of B. Constantine is about 200 yuan per bottle, but the price is 28,000 yuan. The price has increased by about 140 times, and this is the monthly price. Although the price of the blood revival elixir has also increased by more than 100 times, it can completely cure leukemia once and for all. In comparison, this price is a conscientious medicine. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a burst of warm applause on the scene. On the one hand, Everyone was a beneficiary of the blood revival elixir. On the other hand, they agreed with Qin Haodong very much. Even if they could completely cure leukemia by spending 100,000 yuan or 200,000 yuan, it was much more conscientious than those black-hearted businessmen abroad. At this time the reporter said, "But I just said that you are a doctor. You can't just do it for money. Foreign patients are also patients. You don't deserve to be called a benevolent doctor at all. Shut up." Qin Haodong's expression was cold as he shouted, "You said that I don't have a benevolent doctor? Have you ever thought that I could completely modify the formula of the blood revival elixir and completely cure leukemia in a month or a year? How much more money would I make then? I could even directly change the cure to effectively control the condition of leukemia like B. Constantine, so that every patient would have to take it for life. How much more money would I make then?" As soon as he said this, the hearts of everyone present were touched. No one had thought about this before. It was true. If Qin Haodong modified the formula, it would be like a mountain of gold and silver. It would be easy to get money that they could never spend in their lifetime. Being able to relieve the pain of leukemia patients at one time was a benevolent doctor. This was the reincarnation of Bodhisattva. Qin Haodong took a deep breath to ease the anger in his heart. Then he continued, "To tell you the truth, Wilson Company once talked to me and offered me 10 billion yuan to buy the formula of the blood revival elixir in my hands. If I wanted money, I could get 10 billion yuan, or even ask for a higher price. However, I know very well that if Wilson Company got the formula of the safe pill, they would never sell it to our compatriots in Huaxia for 680 yuan. They might sell it for 680,000 yuan, or they might hide the formula directly and let you continue to buy their sky-high B. Constantine. I can ask myself that what I have done is absolutely worthy of the word doctor. If I can't live up to the benevolence of a doctor, then please tell me, what is benevolence of a doctor?" The audience burst into thunderous applause. Only then did they know how much Qin Haodong had silently done for them, and for leukemia patients all over Huaxia. The reporter was ashamed by Qin Haodong's words, but he still said, "I'm not saying that you didn't do well enough, but you shouldn't distinguish between domestic and foreign patients." Qin Haodong said, "Let me ask you, the blood revival elixir can completely cure leukemia and save a person's life. Isn't it worth 100,000 yuan? I am a Chinese medicine practitioner and a Huaxia person. Is it wrong to sell medicine to my compatriots at a low price? I have done some research before. In recent years, the price of life-saving drugs sold to Huaxia, mainly anti-cancer drugs, has increased at least a dozen times, or even hundreds of times. Is it right and proper for them to sell us at a high price? Should I be benevolent? After so many years, have you ever asked those people why the medicine sold to our Huaxia people is dozens, or even hundreds of times more expensive than that of others?" Well, the reporter had originally wanted to ask some sharp questions to highlight his existence and capture some news on the way. He hadn't expected Qin Haodong's words to be so sharp. He was speechless and flushed. "Dr. Qin, we support you. You are the medical sage of the present age. Dr. Qin, benevolent doctors. You are the most worthy of these words. That bastard reporter, get out of here. You are not welcome here." Amidst the excitement of the crowd, the reporter also ran out of the venue in disgrace. Later, Lin Momo announced to the media the 10 places where the blood revival elixir would be sold. At the same time, she proposed a unique sales method. In order to prevent scalpers, all patients who bought the blood revival elixir had to show their leukemia casebooks, and each medical record could only be used once. After the conference, videos, photos, and publicity reports about the conference appeared on the headlines of major media, causing a great sensation not only in Huaxia, but also all over the world. In a villa in M country, Davis and a bearded middle-aged man were tasting red wine in their glasses while watching the reports about the blood revival elixir on the big screen. Davis took a sip of red wine and said, "Keynes, your plan failed. Not only did this Huaxia guy see through Kim Luanhai, but he also tricked us." Chapter 301. Not only was Garnett the second largest shareholder of Wilson Company, but he was also the heir of the Garnett family in M country. After the failure of the last assassination plan, Davis had informed Garnett about the blood revival oral liquid and discussed how to deal with Qin Haodong. He touched his beard with a puzzled look on his face. Kim Luanhai's mask cost us millions of dollars. The material is the latest nanomaterial, and we used the latest 3D printing technology to make it, so there are almost no flaws. Even the facial infrared recognition system and the experts who made the mask couldn't find any problems. I really don't know how this Huaxia man found out. Davis said. Could it be that Kim Luanhai gave himself away? Garnett shook his head and said, that's unlikely. Kim Luanhai has been in this business for more than 10 years. He is the most famous commercial spy in the circle. Generally speaking, it is impossible for him to give himself away so quickly. Davis said, I told you that this Huaxia guy is not as simple as he looks, so I suggest we use plan number 2 to deal with him. Garnett said, plan number 2 will take too long. We can't afford to wait. The blood revival elixir will cause us astronomical losses every day after it goes on the market. We must destroy Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company as soon as possible, so I suggest we use plan number 1. Davis spread his hands and said, but old man, your plan number 1 has failed. Garnett said no. In order not to expose our strength, I didn't use the perfect plan number 1. As long as I use my trump card, I will succeed. Davis said, but my plan number 2 has entered the preparation stage. Garnett patted him on the shoulder and said, don't worry. Believe me, I will succeed this time. If I fail, we will use plan number 2. Davis said, well, I will wait for you for 2 more days. However, I really don't think your plan number 1 will work. That Huaxia guy is too cunning. After the press conference of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, the whole pharmaceutical industry was in turmoil. The success of the blood revival elixir had stirred up a huge wave. In particular, the on-site treatment of hundreds of patients at the press conference had played the best publicity effect, so that everyone no longer had any doubts about the effect of the medicine. The next day, the blood revival elixir was officially sold in 10 sales points in Jiangnan City. Because of the limited production capacity, they could only sell it in limited quantities, which resulted in a long queue in front of each sales point. After going to work, Qin Haodong first went to the production workshop and saw that the production line was running normally. Then he turned and walked to the office building. At this time, the reception hall of the office building of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was already full of people. These people all spoke with accents from all over Huaxia, and there were even a few foreigners with different skin colors. They came from different pharmaceutical sales companies all over the world. After the blood revival elixir had been successfully launched on the market yesterday, pharmaceutical sales companies, which were extremely sensitive to business, had immediately come to Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company to seek an agent for the medicine. These people had been in the business world for many years. How could they not see the value of the blood revival elixir? As long as they could get the distribution rights of the medicine, it would definitely be a profitable business. Although they had hired 2 clerks at the reception, they were still very busy. Pretty lady, could you please convey our company's message to Boss Lin? As long as we can get the dealership, everything else is negotiable. A bespectacled middle-aged pharmaceutical representative said. The clerk said patiently, I'm sorry, sir. Boss Lin has already said that our medicine is in short supply at present. We don't need an agent at all. It was true. The products of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company were different from those of other companies. They couldn't even meet the demand of the 10 sales points. How could they need someone else to sell them? Beauty, please tell Boss Lin that I just need to meet him and talk to him for 10 minutes. No, 5 minutes. The man obviously didn't give up. He thought that as long as he could meet Lin Momo, he might be able to win a chance with his eloquence. So, he quietly put a red envelope in the clerk's hand. The clerk didn't expect this. She blushed and quickly returned the red envelope. Sir, I can't take this. Boss Lin is very busy. Today's appointments are full. Seeing that there was no hope, the man could only take the red envelope and leave bitterly. As soon as he left, another young man in his 30s came over. This man was completely different from the others. He didn't have the humble attitude of seeking cooperation. Instead, he was arrogant and had his nose in the air. The man glanced at the clerk and said arrogantly, "I'm Zhao Kai, the person in charge of the Huaxia region of Manchurk Company. Contact Boss Lin right now. I want to meet her." The clerk smiled professionally and said, "Mr. Zhao, do you have an appointment?" Zhao Kai's expression suddenly changed, as if he had been greatly insulted. He yelled, "Have you received professional training? Did you hear clearly who I am? I'm the person in charge of the Huaxia region of Manchurk Company. Do I need an appointment to see Boss Lin?" The clerk was shocked by his attitude, but she still said, "I'm sorry, sir. According to our company's regulations, you must make an appointment to see Boss Lin. You can't see her without an appointment." "What did you say?" Zhao Kai slapped the front desk and said angrily, "I'm the person in charge of the Huaxia region of Manchurk Company. I'm here to talk about the agent. Can you bear the consequences if the cooperation between the two companies is delayed?" Well, the clerk's expression froze. If it was a representative of other companies, she could have continued to refuse, because it was the company's regulations. However, Manchurk Company was too famous. It was said that the company controlled 60% of the world's drug chain sales. If she really offended Zhao Kai, she would probably be punished by her superiors. Seeing that the clerk was scared, Zhao Kai continued, "I'll call Boss Lin now and ask her if she wants to see me. If not, I'll leave immediately." "Okay, Mr. Zhao. Please wait a moment. I'll call the president's office now." The clerk picked up the phone at the front desk and dialed a series of numbers. Soon she hung up and said, "Mr. Zhao, please follow me." Zhao Kai's face was full of pride. In the end, Lin Momo still wanted to see him. He looked around and walked to the elevator with the clerk. Manchurk Pharmaceutical Company was a giant in the global pharmaceutical industry. It was not something a newly established Chinese medicine company could afford to offend. The pharmaceutical representatives of other companies had no objection. After all, Manchurk Company was so famous that they could not afford to compete with it. As soon as Zhao Kai entered, Qin Haodong walked in. As the big boss of the company, no one would stop him. He walked directly into the elevator for him and Lin Momo. The other pharmaceutical representatives were not happy. They all protested to the front desk. "Who is this man? Why can he go in directly? Doesn't he need to make an appointment?" "Yes, we don't care if the representative of Manchurk Company goes in. After all, they are a big company and we can't compete with them. But why can this man go in?" The clerk glanced at them and said with a smile, "This is the big boss of our company. He developed the blood revival elixir. Do you think he needs to make an appointment?" The pharmaceutical representatives were shocked at first, and then regretted it. They had come to Tangmen Company only to see Lin Momo, but they had forgotten about the big boss, Qin Haodong. They regretted it so much. If they could win Qin Haodong's favor, they could also get the agency rights of the blood revival elixir. It was a pity that they had just missed the opportunity. In fact, they couldn't be blamed for not recognizing Qin Haodong. As long as he appeared in public, he always cast a small illusion on his face, and the effect of the photo was always a little different from him. Because of this slight change, the photo clearly looked like him, but it couldn't be completely consistent with his real person. Zhao Kai was led to Lin Momo's office by the clerk. After entering, he directly sat on the sofa opposite her without saying hello. He raised his chin, looked at Lin Momo, and said, "You must be Lin Momo. I'm Zhao Kai, the person in charge of the Huaxia branch of Manchurk Company. I'm here to discuss the agency rights of the blood revival elixir with you." Lin Momo frowned slightly. Manchurk was the world's largest drug sales chain company. Although the blood revival elixir had no plans to be sold in other countries, she had made an exception to meet Zhao Kai, considering that they would eventually enter the international market. She did not expect this guy to be so arrogant. It seemed that he did not take Tangmen Company seriously at all. "Mr. Zhao." As soon as Lin Momo opened her mouth, Zhao Kai rudely raised his hand and interrupted her. Zhao Kai said arrogantly, We, Manchurk Company, can act as your agent, but we have to decide the rules. Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company must agree to 3 of our conditions. Otherwise, we can forget about the cooperation. First, immediately stop the sale of the blood revival elixir in Huaxia. I don't know if you have a brain. How could you sell such a valuable drug for 680 yuan per box? You're throwing money away. Second, after we sign the agency contract, we'll split the profits 30 to 70. You get 30%, and we get 70%. Third, our company will decide the price of the blood revival elixir. We can sell it for as much as we want. Lin Momo was shocked by this guy's arrogance. Who did he think he was? Was he God? How could he put forward such harsh conditions? It was impossible for him to agree to any one of them, let alone 3. She said, Mr. Zhao, did you drink too much last night? Or did you not wake up this morning? Or did you forget to take your medicine before you went out? What do you mean? Zhao Kai was unhappy and said, Do you think my conditions are too harsh? Don't forget that we may be Manchurk Company, which is not comparable to other small companies. Cooperating with our company will definitely bring you great benefits. As the president of the group, you should be more open-minded and see the fact that the blood revival elixir is only a traditional Chinese medicine product. Do you know the situation of traditional Chinese medicine in Europe and the United States? Many developed countries in Europe and the United States think that traditional Chinese medicine is unscientific. No one believes in traditional Chinese medicine, let alone that it can cure diseases. It's impossible for a small company like yours to enter the European and American markets. You can only do this with the huge influence of Manchurk Company. In addition, Manchurk has a huge sales network all over the world. We have a world-class marketing team and the most powerful sales ability in the world. As long as we act as your agent, you won't have to worry about sales. You just need to sit at home and count the money. Chapter 302. Faced with such an arrogant guy, Lin Momo had lost interest in talking with him. She said, Mr. Zhao, I think there's one thing you haven't figured out. Our blood revival elixir is in short supply, and we don't need to worry about sales at all. Therefore, there's no need for us to talk anymore. Tangmin Pharmaceutical Company doesn't need your agency. What? President Lin? Do you know what you're talking about? Zhao Kai looked shocked. Manchurk Company was the world's largest sales chain company. No matter where it went, it would be treated like an ancestor by pharmaceutical companies. No company had ever refused to cooperate with them. That was why he was so arrogant. That day, he had received an order from his superiors to discuss cooperation with Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company about the blood revival elixir. He had thought that with Manchurk's advantages, he would have an absolute advantage over such a new traditional Chinese medicine company. He could do whatever he wanted. He had not expected to be rejected. I said that Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company doesn't need to cooperate with Manchurk. Please go back. Although Lin Momo spoke politely, her attitude was extremely firm. Zhao Kai shouted angrily, Lin Momo, you have to think about it. You're the president of the group, and you're responsible for the whole company. If you refuse to cooperate with Manchurk, I can guarantee that your products will never be sold to Europe and the United States. Lin Momo said coldly, This is Tangmin Company's business. It has nothing to do with you. Seeing that the negotiation was about to reach a dead end, Zhao Kai finally restrained himself and said, President Lin, don't be so hasty to make a decision. Aren't we negotiating? We still have to talk about cooperation. Don't forget that you're a businessman. The first thing you should think about is how to make the biggest profit. Now the blood revival elixir is sold at 680 yuan per box. I really don't know what you're thinking. What's the difference between this and giving it away for free? As long as you give us the agency, I can guarantee that you'll make at least 100,000 yuan per box. Lin Momo had lost interest in talking. She was waiting for this guy to finish talking and get out of here. Zhao Kai misunderstood her reaction and thought that she was moved by the profit he reported. He said, I'm telling you, you can't listen to that little doctor about the product management. We are businessmen, and businessmen want to make money. Don't talk about the benevolence of doctors. That's totally brainless. Hearing this guy start to slander Qin Haodong, Lin Momo finally couldn't hold back her anger. She said angrily, "Get out of here." What? Zhao Kai could not believe his ears. He had participated in countless business negotiations on behalf of Manchurk Company, and nobody had ever dared to tell him to piss off. "Didn't you hear? I told you to get out. So hurry up and get out." As soon as the door opened, Qin Haodong walked in from the outside. With his keen sixth senses, he had heard most of their conversation along the way. Zhao Kai flew into a rage out of shame after being shouted at twice. He shouted at Qin Haodong, "Who are you? Can't you see I'm talking to your boss? It's not your place to talk." Lin Momo said, "You're wrong. I'm just the president of the company. He's my boss." Boss. Zhao Kai recognized that the young man in front of him was Qin Haodong, who had gone viral on the internet. "Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Zhao Kai, the person in charge of Manchurk Company's Huaxia region." Before he could finish, Qin Haodong waved his hand and said, "There's no need to introduce yourself. My girlfriend just told you to get out of here. Didn't you hear her?" Zhao Kai was so angry that his eyes were on fire. He was the person in charge of Manchurk Company's Huaxia region, wasn't he? However, when he thought of his mission and the strict order given by his boss, he could only hide his face in his pants. He put on a flattering smile and said, "Mr. Qin, you may have some misunderstandings about our company. In fact, it's very beneficial for us to cooperate. As long as you're willing to let our company handle the blood revival elixir, we can discuss other conditions. For example, we can share the profits. You can get 70%, and we'll get 30%. Qin Haodong said, "I heard the 3 conditions you just mentioned. We can't agree to any of them, so you'd better go back now." Zhao Kai's expression froze, but he quickly said, "Mr. Qin, it doesn't matter if you don't agree. It's a business negotiation. The most important thing is to talk. As long as you're willing to let us handle the products, we can discuss other conditions." Qin Haodong looked at him thoughtfully and said, "You don't want the pricing power of the products anymore?" No, it's all up to your company," Zhao Kai said with a flattering face. His attitude was completely different from his arrogance at the beginning. Lin Momo was secretly shocked and thought that this man was really good at acting. "You don't want us to suspend the sales in the Huaxia region? Well, it'd be better if we can suspend the sales. If not, we won't force you. About the profit sharing, what if we don't want to give you a penny?" Zhao Kai was shocked at first, but then he gritted his teeth and said, "It's fine if you don't want to give us any profit. Our company can handle it for free." It was Lin Momo's turn to be shocked. She really couldn't understand why an international chain like Manchurk would force them to such a low price. Was acting as the agent of the blood revival elixir so important to them? Qin Haodong smiled and said, "The offer is good. It couldn't be better." Zhao Kai hurriedly said, "That's right. Our company is very sincere. Mr. Qin, what do you think about cooperation?" He had thought that there had been a major turnaround, but Qin Haodong's expression changed. He said, "There's no need to talk about cooperation. We won't let you handle the products. Get out of here." "Mr. Qin, don't be like this. Just tell us what you want. We'll be happy as long as you let us handle the products." Zhao Kai pulled Qin Haodong's sleeve and looked like he was about to cry. "Tell us what you want. If you want to act as the agent of our products, you have to pay a sponsorship fee of 100 million yuan to our company. Is that okay?" Zhao Kai almost choked on his own saliva. Their company had always taken more than half of the profits when they acted as agents for other people's products. Now not only could they not take any profits, but they also had to pay the sponsorship fee. Lin Momo also thought that Qin Haodong was joking. How could it be possible? They had already made the biggest concession by not making any money. How could they pay you back? It didn't make sense at all. To her surprise, Zhao Kai gritted his teeth and said, "Okay. As long as Mr. Qin is willing to give us the agency of the blood revival elixir, we can sign the contract now. After signing the contract, we'll pay 100 million yuan as sponsorship fee immediately." What the hell? Lin Momo felt that her worldview was about to collapse. How could they negotiate like this? Not only would they act as agents for free, but they would also pay 100 million yuan as sponsorship fee. What's more, it was a world-famous company like Manchurk. She really thought that Zhao Kai was crazy. She said, "Are you sure you took your medicine when you came out this morning?" Zhao Kai was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. If it wasn't for the boss's strict order to get the dealership at all costs, and if he couldn't get it, he would have turned around and left a long time ago. Qin Haodong said to Lin Momo, "You don't understand, do you?" "No." Lin Momo looked at him and said, "Do you?" Qin Haodong said, "I just asked Wan to check the information of Manchurk. 8 of the top 10 major shareholders hold shares in Wilson's company. The top 2 shareholders are exactly the same as Wilson's company. One is Davis, and the other is Garnett." Then he turned to Zhao Kai and said, "Go back and tell Davis that his little trick won't work on me. Don't even think about getting the blood revival elixir." Well, although Zhao Kai was extremely reluctant, his plan had been seen through by Qin Haodong. It was useless to stay there any longer, so he could only leave the office in disgrace. After he left, Lin Momo asked again, "Haodong, I still don't understand. Although Wilson's company is behind Manchurk, why do they want the agency? They still can't get the formula." Qin Haodong said, "You're still thinking too simply. If Wilson's company has the agency of the blood revival elixir, it will be a good deal for us to attack or retreat. First of all, they will have a large number of blood revival elixirs in their hands. They can continue to experiment in the laboratory until they find the formula. Second, if we are really scared by the name of Manchurk and give them a large amount of profits, they can also make a lot of money from the sales to make up for the loss of Beconstang's sales. The last point, which I guess is also what they value the most, is that as long as we give the agency to Wilson's company, they can play some tricks in the sales process. For example, they can make the blood revival elixir ineffective, or even kill people. By then, the blood revival elixir will be completely ruined, and the big cake of the leukemia market will be Beconstang's. Oh, that's it. Lin Momo suddenly understood. It was not that she was not good at business, but that she had been in the jewelry business and did not have a deep understanding of the pharmaceutical industry. She was not as thorough as Qin Haodong, who was a doctor. Qin Haodong had always attached great importance to the safety of drugs. The reason why he asked patients to buy the elixir and take the medicine on the spot was that he was afraid that someone would take the blood revival elixir back and play tricks on it. If something went wrong, Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company would be blamed. After all, the interests behind the blood revival elixir were so great that it had taken away the cake of many pharmaceutical companies. It was impossible for these people not to have bad ideas about Tangmen Pharmaceutical. After thinking for a while, Lin Momo said, "If that's the case, what should we do when we enter the European and American markets?" "In fact, you don't have to worry about that at all," Qin Haodong said. "At present, we mainly need to meet the demand of the Chinese market. When the Chinese market is almost ready, people will naturally come to our door and beg to buy our medicine. As the saying goes, good wine fears no dark alley. As long as our blood revival elixir is really effective, we can sell well all over the world without the agency of Manchurk Company, because we are the only company that can cure leukemia completely." Lin Momo nodded and said, "You're right. Even if we sell it in China, there will be patients in Europe and the United States who will come to buy it." While they were talking, Lu Yage hurried in from outside and said to Qin Haodong, "The technician in charge of purchasing medicine is on leave today. Can you go to the medicine market with the purchasing department and buy the medicinal materials we need as soon as possible?" Chapter 303. "Okay, I'll go with you." Qin Haodong simply agreed. After all, it was his family's business. Besides, Tangmen Company had just started. It was originally planned to recruit 3 technicians. Now one was in place. Once all the technicians were in place, this kind of thing would not happen again. They left the office together. Lin Momo began to be nervous and busy. There were indeed a lot of things that needed her to deal with in such a large company. Zhao Kai left the reception hall with his tail between his legs. Not long after he left, a young man in a well-ironed suit, with an imposing appearance walked in. "Sir, who are you looking for?" The clerk at the front desk asked politely. "I want to see Lin Momo." The young man's face was very old-fashioned. "Sir, do you have an appointment?" The young man said. "No, but you can tell her my name is Tang Long. She will definitely see me." "Well, please wait a moment." Seeing that the young man was different from other pharmaceutical representatives, the clerk hesitated for a moment and finally dialed the office number. Soon, the clerk hung up the phone with a strange look and said to Tang Long, "Sir, please come with me." The reason why she looked strange was that she had never seen Lin Momo get angry on the phone. Moreover, Lin Momo still wanted to take the young man to her. She really didn't know how the young man had offended the president. In the president's office, Lin Momo's face was livid. A fake came to pretend to be Tang Long the day before yesterday. She didn't expect that another one would come just 2 days later. The people of Wilson Company were really endless. As soon as she received the phone call from the front desk, she immediately called Saber and Sharp Sword over. She secretly made up her mind to expose the fake in person. Tang Long was taken into the office. He immediately saw Saber and Sharp Sword looking at him fiercely. Lin Momo opposite him was even more murderous. "Momo." Before he could finish his words, Lin Momo waved her hand. Saber and the others immediately stepped forward and pressed him to the ground. They quickly took off all his clothes. "Lin Momo, what are you doing? Are you crazy?" Tang Long roared and tried to resist. Maybe his small physique was no match for Saber and Sharp Sword. His upper clothes were taken off in a few seconds. "Look carefully. He must be wearing a mask." Lin Momo had seen Qin Haodong expose Jin Donghai's identity last time, so she was sure that Tang Long was also wearing a mask. Otherwise, how could it be so coincidental that people who had disappeared for 5 years appeared one after another at this time? However, Saber and the others used all their strength, almost scraping off a layer of skin on Tang Long's face, and pulling out dozens of hairs. In the end, they still couldn't find him. "Leather mask," Saber finally said to Lin Momo. "Miss Lin, this guy's face doesn't seem to be fake. How is that possible?" "It must be because you didn't check carefully enough. You should start from the bottom and check bit by bit." After receiving Lin Momo's order, Saber and the others started from Tang Long's navel and carefully checked again, but they still did not find any trace of a mask. "Miss Lin, still nothing," Saber said. Lin Momo took a look and her face swelled. The red Tang Long said, "You really are Tang Long?" "Nonsense, who else could it be if not me? Lin Momo, what the hell do you want?" Tang Long was so angry that he didn't expect that he would be stripped naked by several big men as soon as he entered the door, and almost have a layer of skin rubbed off. This, Lin Momo didn't know how to explain. She waved her hand and asked Saber and the others to let go of Tang Long. Tang Long got up from the ground and put on his clothes again. Lin Momo still asked with some uncertainty, "Are you sure it's Tang Long?" Tang Long roared angrily, "It's me, it's me, it's me. Don't you even know me?" "Well, it's you. What do you want from me?" After a round of examination and finding no problem, Lin Momo believed most of Tang Long's identity. "Are you sure you want me to say it in front of them?" Tang Long glanced at Saber and Sword next to him and said, it was related to her privacy. So Lin Momo also felt a little inappropriate. She waved her hand to Saber and said, "You go out first." Saber and the others went out. With Yao Qianqian secretly protecting them, they were not worried about Lin Momo's safety. "What do you want from me?" When she asked this, Lin Momo felt conflicted and afraid. If this man was really Tang Long, then he was Tang Tang's biological father. She was afraid that he came to ask her for a child. Tang Long said, "I don't want to mention what happened 5 years ago. After all, we are adults. I went to the bar to find a woman, but I happened to meet you. I just wanted to have fun and didn't look for you again. But a few days ago, I heard that you haven't married, but you have a daughter. I want to ask if the child is mine." Tang Long went straight to the point and asked about the child, which made Lin Momo a little overwhelmed for a moment. After a moment of silence, she cried, "Tang Tang is my daughter. It has nothing to do with you." "Nonsense. How can you have a child by yourself?" Tang Long cried. "I just want to ask who the father is. It's Qin Haodong." Lin Momo was very satisfied with her current state of life. She loved Qin Haodong very much and felt very happy. She didn't want her beautiful life to be destroyed by the person in front of her, so she finally weaved a lie. "Qin Haodong," Tang Long said with a disdainful smile. "Don't think I'm a fool. I've done an investigation before I came here. 5 years ago, Qin Haodong was still in high school. You have known him for less than 2 months. How could he be Tang Tang's father?" Well, after all, a lie was a lie, especially since Lin Momo had never lied before. She looked flustered and speechless for a moment. Tang Long looked at her and said, "Since you can't name anyone else, the child is mine." "No, it's not yours. Tang Tang is my daughter. No one can take her away," Lin Momo said in a panic. As the president of 2 companies, she could keep calm in the past no matter how big things were. But when it came to the ownership of her daughter, she couldn't calm down no matter what. Tang Long said, "Well, let's go pick up Tang Tang now and do a DNA test together. If she's my daughter, no one can deprive me of my right to be a father. If she's not my daughter, I don't want her." Facing the aggressive Tang Long, Lin Momo hesitated for a moment and said, Well, can we go later?" She wanted to wait for Qin Haodong to come back. With that man by her side, she was not afraid of anything. But Tang Long cried, "No, I've waited for 5 years. I can't wait another minute. I have to go now, right now." Lin Momo thought about it, and finally did not refuse Tang Long. She left Tangmen Group with Saber, and drove straight to Gold Branch and Jade Leaf Kindergarten. When the little fellow saw Lin Momo, she cried excitedly, "Mama, why did you pick me up so early? Do you want to take me out to play?" Lin Momo couldn't get excited. She held the little fellow tightly in her arms and said, "I'm going to take you to the hospital for a physical examination." "But isn't Papa a doctor? Why don't you let him examine me?" Lin Momo said, "I'll take you to have a blood test. Papa can't do it." "All right then." The little fellow got in the car with Lin Momo. When she saw Tang Long sitting in the car, she immediately cried, "Mama, isn't that the bad guy Papa beat? Why is he here again?" Lin Momo didn't know how to explain, so she could only say, "Tang Tang, that one is fake. This one is real." Tang Long asked with a look of surprise, "What's real or fake?" Lin Momo said coldly, "You don't need to know that." Tang Long didn't dwell on this issue. He turned to look at the little fellow and asked, "Is this my daughter?" The little fellow cried discontentedly, "Bad guy, you're not my papa. My papa is Qin Haodong." Tang Long looked at Lin Momo and said, "How can you do this? How dare you lie to her? You should tell her that I'm her real father." Lin Momo glared at him and said coldly, "Shut up before you get the result." Seeing that Lin Momo was really angry, Tang Long opened his mouth awkwardly, but he didn't say anything in the end. The atmosphere in the car suddenly became silent. Lin Momo and her daughter didn't speak, and Tang Long didn't say anything either. The car went straight to Jiangnan Hospital. Lin Momo held her daughter in her arms and glanced at Tang Long opposite her. She had to admit that the two of them were somewhat similar in appearance. If Tang Long hadn't had plastic surgery and wasn't a fake, he was probably the little fellow's biological father. But for some reason, she had another feeling in her heart. Qin Haodong was more like Tang Tang's biological father, while the little fellow had nothing to do with Tang Long. This feeling had no basis at all, but it was very real. In silence, the motorcade arrived at Jiangnan Hospital. Lin Momo took the little fellow and Tang Long to the genetic diagnosis room of the laboratory. After collecting the samples, Lin Momo suddenly became nervous. If Tang Long was really Tang Tang's biological father, what should she do? How could she explain to Tang Tang? If Tang Long insisted on taking Tang Tang away, how could she face him? Obviously, the little fellow didn't think so much. She ran up and down the corridor of the hospital alone, having a great time. Tang Long tried to get close to the little fellow several times, but the little fellow refused. In her opinion, this man was a big bad guy. Half an hour later, a nurse came out with the test report and asked, "Is Tang Tang's family here?" Lin Momo nervously greeted her and said, "I'm here. I'm Tang Tang's mother." The nurse glanced at her and said, "The test result is out. The paternity test result of Tang Long and Tang Tang is 99% similar." Lin Momo's face suddenly turned pale and stiff. She still knew this basic medical knowledge. The 99% DNA test result of the two people showed that Tang Long was really Tang Tang's biological father. God, what should I do? She felt that her head was going to explode. Tang Long excitedly held the little fellow in his arms and said, "My daughter, call me daddy. Get out of here. Let me go." The little fellow was much stronger than ordinary children. She pushed Tang Long away and threw herself into Lin Momo's arms, shouting, "Mommy, get rid of this big bad guy. I hate him." Tang Long came to Lin Momo and said, "Don't you want to tell your daughter the truth at this time? This is my daughter. It's none of your business." Lin Momo held the little fellow and said, "Tang Tang was brought up by me. You've never done your duty as a father." Tang Long cried, "That's because I didn't know she existed. From today on, I'll do my duty as a father. I'll take her to country." Chapter 304. Lin Momo yelled, "No, Tang Tang is my daughter. No one can take her away from me." "Why not? Tang Tang is also my daughter. She has been with you for so long. Now it's my turn to take care of her." Tang Long did not give in either. The two people's constant quarrel attracted people's attention. Soon, a circle of onlookers formed around them, pointing at them. Some people even recognized Lin Momo. Lin Momo took a deep breath, suppressed the anger in her heart, and said, "Let's not quarrel here. Come home with me." After saying that, she returned to the car with the little fellow in her arms. Tang Tang seemed to have heard something. She hugged Lin Momo's neck and said, "Mama, I want to be with Papa and Mama. I don't want to go with that bad guy." Lin Momo said firmly, "Don't worry, baby. No one can take you away as long as Mama is here." In a mountainous area on the outskirts of the capital of country, it looked no different from other places. The mountains were beautiful, the rivers were green, and all kinds of beasts were wandering in the mountains. Birds were jumping happily in the trees. However, there was another world under the ground. A highly modern laboratory was operating in an orderly manner 30 meters under the soil. Davis and Garnett sat together on a comfortable leather sofa. Opposite them was a wide electronic screen, which was playing the scene of Tang Long and Lin Momo together. Next to them, two technicians were skillfully operating the computer. The instructions they issued were exactly the same as what Tang Long had said. Even Tang Long's expression was controlled by them. After seeing the DNA test results, Garnett proudly said to Davis, "How about it, old man? My plan is going well. Now this woman is convinced of the identity of test body number 1. Davis said, "The organization put you in charge of this laboratory. Now you've released test body number 1. Aren't you afraid that the big boss will blame you?" Garnett's expression froze for a moment before he said, "That's not a big deal. Experiment number 1 has already completed all the tests. This mission just happens to be a test for him. This is also a contribution to the organization. I guess the big boss won't say anything. Besides, I'm helping you. The big boss put me in charge of this laboratory, and you in charge of running Wilson Company to make money. Now your profitable business has been seriously threatened. If you don't get this formula, I believe it won't be long before the big boss's anger falls on you." "Old buddy, don't put the blame on me," said Davis. "Even without you, my second plan can solve the current problem. You should think more about yourself. If the secret of experimental body number 1 is leaked, the big boss will definitely punish you." From the conversation between the two of them, it could be seen that their relationship wasn't too harmonious. On the contrary, they seemed to be competing and suppressing each other. "You don't have to worry about that. I've already made a foolproof plan. No matter what, the secret of test subject number 1 will not be leaked," Garnett said excitedly. If test subject number 1 can successfully get the formula, it will prove that there is no problem with our research and development. Then we can carry out more important tasks. Davis said, "Old buddy, don't be too happy too early. The most difficult thing to deal with in Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company is not this woman, but that Huaxia guy. Nothing matters before he appears." Garnett said indifferently, "Even if that Tang guy comes, so what? The DNA of experimental body number 1 is completely copied from that little girl's DNA. There will be no problem with the paternity test. I have a hunch that you will never succeed. Qin Haodong is definitely more powerful than you and I think. Davis, you're too timid. I'll definitely succeed this time." Davis said, "Old buddy, you are too confident. How about we bet $10 million? Garnett said confidently, "No problem. Just wait to transfer $10 million to my bank account." In Jiangnan City, Lin Momo returned to the Lin's villa with Tang Long. After entering the door, she said, "No matter what, Tang Tang is my bottom line. I can let you see her, but you can't take her away." The little fellow also said, "Mommy, I hate him. I don't want to see that big bad guy." Tang Long said with a chagrined expression, "See? Now my daughter is so distant from me, her father. I have to let her stay with me for a while." Lin Momo said, "That's impossible. No one can take Tang Tang away from me. You are unreasonable. If that's the case, then I will go to court to sue. Whatever. Even if the court decides, Tang Tang will be given to me." Tang Long sneered and said, "That is not necessarily true. You are now in a relationship with that gigolo boy, and I am single. The court is likely to start from this point and give Tang Tang to me, unless you can break up with that gigolo boy. Are you willing to do that?" Lin Momo's expression changed. Of course, she was reluctant to give Tang Tang up, but it was impossible for her to leave Qin Haodong. "I know you must be reluctant." Tang Long sneered again. "And you are the president of Lin's group in Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. If you really take the lawsuit to court, I am afraid that it will have a great impact on the two companies you manage." Lin Momo immediately realized that this man was definitely prepared and had everything under control. She said, "Tell me, what do you want?" Tang Long said with a playful expression, "Since you are so reluctant to give up your daughter, and we are both single, why don't we get married? Then we don't have to fight for her, and we can give her a complete family." "No, that is impossible." Lin Momo refused without hesitation. If she had met Qin Haodong before, she might have considered this suggestion, but now it was impossible. Tang Long smiled and said, "I know you are reluctant to give up that gigolo boy." Lin Momo said, "Change the condition. As long as you don't fight with me for Tang Tang, I can give you any amount of money." "You are really generous." Tang Long smiled disdainfully and said, "I am not short of money. How about you give me 20% of the shares of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, and I will not fight with you for the custody of Tang Tang." Lin Momo's expression changed as she said, "That is impossible. I don't have any shares of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. What can I give you?" "What? You don't even have 20% of the shares?" Tang Long said with some surprise. "It seems that this gigolo boy is not good to you. He only wants you to work for him, but he doesn't give you any benefits. Since you don't have any shares, you can give me the formula of the blood revival elixir." "Are you showing your fox's tail so soon?" While they were talking, the door opened and Qin Haodong came in from outside. He had received a message from Saber, saying that another guy named Tang Long had come, so he hurried back. "Papa, come on. There is another bad guy coming. He wants to take me away," the little fellow shouted as she flew into Qin Haodong's arms. Qin Haodong held her in his arms and said, "Don't worry. As long as Papa is here, no one can take me away." "Who are you? How can you say that? You are just Tang Tang's godfather. What right do you have to interfere with my custody of Tang Tang?" Tang Long spoke with confidence, but as soon as his voice fell, he flew out like a kite with a broken line and hit the opposite wall with a bang. "Great! Beat him! Papa, beat him! Beat this big bad guy!" the little fellow shouted excitedly. Lin Momo pulled Qin Haodong aside and whispered, "Haodong, don't be impulsive. This man is really Tang Long, Qin Haodong said. That's impossible. I also hope it's not true. Lin Momo shook her head and said, Look, this is the paternity test done by him and Tang Tang. The similarity rate has reached 99%. He is indeed Tang Tang's biological father. Qin Haodong was a little surprised. He was Tang Tang's biological father. There was no doubt about that. How could there be another person who was 99% similar? He took the DNA test result from Lin Momo's hand and looked at it briefly. It was true, which made him a little confused. He was Tang Tang's biological father. How could there be another one? He asked. Did he bring this test? Will there be a problem? Lin Momo shook her head and said, I did it with him in Jiangnan Hospital. I was there the whole time. There can be no problem. At this time, Tang Long got up from the ground and shouted angrily at Qin Haodong. Why did you beat me? I'm a citizen of M country. You will have to bear serious consequences if you beat me. Qin Haodong turned his head and looked at Tang Long. The powerful power of the spirit quickly covered him. He wanted to see where the guy's flaws were. At first glance, he couldn't help but be shocked. Although Tang Long was alive and kicking, this guy had no 3 souls and 7 spirits. His entire mudpill palace was empty. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. It was really interesting. Then he directly used the mind-manipulating skill. Tell me, who are you? What are you doing here? I told you that I'm Tang Long, Tang Tang's biological father. I'm here to get my daughter back. Under the mind-manipulating skill, Tang Long was not affected at all. Qin Haodong was sure that he was right. This guy really had no soul. The problem was self-evident when a person had no 3 souls and 7 spirits. Then he stretched out a finger and poked the Shanzhong acupoint on Tang Long's chest. Tang Long was so scared that he took 2 steps back and cried nervously. What are you doing? I've already warned you. If you do anything to me again, I'll call the police immediately. Qin Haodong had already gotten the answer he wanted. Not only did this guy not have 3 souls and 7 spirits, but he also didn't have any acupoints. Coupled with the DNA test result just now, he had already guessed Tang Long's identity, a cyborg. He was definitely a synthetic cyborg. It was easy to guess who had sent this cyborg. It must be Wilson Company, which was after the formula of the blood revival elixir. Qin Haodong hadn't expected that the company's technological strength was so powerful that they could even create cyborgs. After getting the result he wanted, Qin Haodong waved his hand at the door. Saber and the others immediately walked in. Boss, what can I do for you? Qin Haodong pointed to Tang Long and said, Tie him up and put him in a sack. Yes, boss. Saber and Sword answered and immediately put Tang Long on the ground. Then they tied him up with a rope. Spear turned around and found a sack. The fake Tang Long didn't know that his identity had been exposed. He struggled and shouted, Let me go! Let me go! What do you want? I'm a citizen of M country. I want to protest. I want to call the police. Chapter 305. Qin Haodong was annoyed by the guy's yelling and said, Stuff his mouth. Yes, boss. Sharp Sword immediately tore off Tang Long's socks and stuffed them into his mouth. Then, together with Spear, he put him into the sack and casually closed the sack's mouth. Haodong, is this appropriate? Lin Momo asked nervously. Don't worry. I'll give you a result later. Qin Haodong patted Lin Momo on the shoulder and handed the little fellow to Lin Ziyuan, who had rushed back after hearing the news. Then, he took Lin Momo and Saber to the yard. He asked Saber to put the sack in the trunk of the car. And then they left the Lin's villa together. In the underground experimental base of M country, Garnett looked at the black electronic screen and exclaimed in surprise. What is this Huaxia boy doing? Why did he treat test subject number 1 like this? Davis lit a cigar, took a leisurely puff and said, Old man, I feel that this Huaxia boy has seen through the identity of test subject number 1. Garnett waved his fist and shouted, Impossible, this is impossible. Test subject number 1 is almost perfect. How could he see through it? It's an intuition. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. Davis said. But I'm going to win this bet. Just wait for the $10 million to be transferred into my account. No, this is impossible. That Huaxia boy must be jealous. He's taking revenge on my test subject number 1. But I believe that Huaxia is a legal country. He wouldn't dare to do anything. Garnett still couldn't believe everything in front of him. In his opinion, test subject number 1 was perfect and flawless. Even the DNA identification was not a problem. Qin Haodong had no reason to doubt it. Qin Haodong took Lin Momo to Daddy's security company. Saber carried the sack, and they went to Chi Won'er's room. Chi Won'er had just finished dinner and was about to change clothes to take a bath. When she saw Qin Haodong, she said, "Haodong, Sister Momo, you're here." Then, she saw the squirming sack in Saber's hand and asked, "Haodong, what is this? Come with me first." Qin Haodong took Chi Won'er to the next room and asked, "How much do you know about high-end DNA technology?" "I know a little, but it's all at the theoretical level. I haven't really experimented." Chi Won'er asked in surprise, "Aren't you a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner? Why are you asking about this?" Qin Haodong did not answer her question, but asked again, "Then tell me, with the current level of technology, can we use DNA technology to create a human?" Chi Won'er said, "In terms of technology, there is no problem, but now there are relevant regulations in each country, which do not allow this kind of behavior to happen. If we use DNA technology to imitate a person, is there a way to control his words and actions?" Chi Won'er thought for a moment and said, "Using DNA technology to quickly replicate a person should have no thinking and consciousness. But if we implant a chip in the brain, we should be able to control his words and deeds through computer technology." After listening to Chi Won'er's words, Qin Haodong was more certain that Tang Long was such an existence. He said, "If there is such a biohuman in front of you now, is there a way to cut off his control?" Chi Won'er said, "It's not too difficult. You just need to cut off the signal connection between the chip and his computer. With the current equipment of our security company, we can do it." "Great," Qin Haodong said. "There is a biohuman in that sack. Help me cut off his signal connection now." After they finished talking, Chi Won'er immediately arranged for someone to move the signal jammer outside the room. Then, she connected the laptop and began to prepare the program. 3 minutes later, she said, "It's ready. Now we can cut off the signal at any time." "Wait a minute. You can do it when I ask you to." Qin Haodong returned to the room and asked Saber to open the sack and let Tang Long out. There were only Qin Haodong, Chi Won'er, Lin Momo and Tang Long in the room. Seeing what Qin Haodong was doing, Lin Momo was even more confused. She asked, "Haodong, what are you doing? Anyway, he is Tang's father. You can't be impulsive. You'll know what's going on soon." Qin Haodong turned to Chi Won'er and said, "Let's start now." The reason why he did this was to let Lin Momo see with her own eyes that the person in front of her was a biohuman, not the real Tang Long. After receiving Qin Haodong's order, Chi Won'er immediately pressed the enter key. In the underground experimental base of M Country, Garnett shouted excitedly when he saw the big screen that had restored the image. "I told you that test body number 1 is perfect. Qin Haodong can't find anything." However, as soon as he finished speaking, the image on the big screen flashed. This time, it completely turned into a snowflake, which was a sign that the signal was interrupted. The 2 technicians on the other side shouted, "This is bad, boss. We've completely lost contact with test subject number 1. My God, how could this be? This is impossible. This is impossible. Isn't Qin Haodong a Chinese medicine practitioner? How could he see through test body number 1? How could he have the technology to interrupt the signal?" However, the truth was the truth. No matter how he roared, there was still a snowflake on the big screen, and there was no sign of the signal being restored. "What's going on? Is there a problem here?" Garnett shouted at the 2 technicians. One of the technicians quickly said, "Boss, there is no problem here. The connection signal between the computer and test body number 1 was strongly interfered with, so the connection was broken." "Huaxia boy, you will regret what you have done," Garnett roared crazily. Davis, with a cigar in his mouth, said with some schadenfreude, Old man, you'd better think about how to keep the secret of test body number 1. If Qin Haodong gives it to the Huaxia authorities, and the organization's secret is leaked, you will be in big trouble. I guess the big boss will make you a test body. Garnet quickly regained his composure and said with a cold expression, "That's impossible. Our technicians have already set up a special explosive device in test body number 1. As long as the signal is lost for more than a minute, test body number 1 will automatically explode. That Huaxia boy will definitely be blown to pieces. As long as he dies, the development of the blood revival elixir will end. Anyway, I have helped the organization solve a big problem. I believe the big boss will reward me." At Daddy Security Company, after Qi Wen'er cut off the signal, Tang Long, who had been squirming and protesting, immediately became like a puppet. The light in his eyes disappeared, and he had no reaction at all. Lin Momo was shocked and shouted in surprise, "What's going on? Haodong, did you kill him?" She knew that Qin Haodong had many magical means, and thought that this was only one of them. Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "I didn't kill him. He is an artificially created cyborg." "Cyborg? How is that possible?" Lin Momo still couldn't believe it. Qin Haodong further explained, "Wilson Company found out what happened between you and Tang Long through their means, so they sent a fake Tang Long. After the last failure, they sent an upgraded version of Tang Long. The purpose is still to cheat us of the formula." Lin Momo said with a shocked face, But his DNA is 99% similar to Tang Tang's. It's not surprising. Wilson Company is far more powerful than we thought. It is not difficult to get a strand of Tang Tang's hair. They must have gotten a sample of Tang Tang's DNA first, and then made a cyborg according to her DNA. In this case, the paternity test must be similar. Lin Momo's face was a little pale, and she fell into silence. She knew that what Qin Haodong said was true, but all this had a great impact on her. Qi Wen'er also put down the computer, walked over and said, "Sister Momo, don't worry too much. Although their means are very cunning, Haodong saw through them." After a moment of silence, Lin Momo said, "But I'm still a little worried. What should I do if Tang Tang's father really comes to me one day?" Qin Haodong knew that it was absolutely impossible. As long as someone said he was Tang Long, it was definitely a fake. When he was about to further comfort Lin Momo, he suddenly felt a numbness in his scalp, and an unprecedented sense of crisis rose from the bottom of his heart. "No, there's a bomb." After coming to his senses, Qin Haodong held Lin Momo and Qi Wen'er in his arms, and suddenly threw himself into the corner of the room. Then, he ran the genuine qi of everlasting green wood to form a genuine qi shield to protect the three of them. As soon as he did all this, Tang Long's eyes flashed red behind him, and then there was a bang. A huge wave of air swept around wildly, and all kinds of furniture in the room were instantly turned into pieces. Then, a large area of the wall collapsed, burying everything in the room. In the laboratory of M Country, a technician shouted, "Boss, test body number 1 has successfully started the self-explosion program." "Great!" Garnet shouted excitedly. "Although I wasted my most precious test body this time, I killed that Huaxia boy after all. The plan is a success." Davis said, "Garnet, it's not as simple as you think. I've dealt with that Huaxia boy several times. He's very powerful. I'm afraid he won't die so easily." Garnet said disdainfully, "Old man, are you scared by Qin Haodong? Or are you jealous of what I've achieved? Do you know how many explosives I put in test body number 1? It's enough to blow up a tank. In this case, Qin Haodong is not made of steel. How could he not die?" He was right. The amount of explosives placed in test body number 1 was indeed enough, and the power of the explosion was enough. When Qin Haodong was attacked by the first wave of air, he suddenly opened his mouth and spat out a large mouthful of blood. Before he could recover, a large number of bricks and stones fell like raindrops, instantly swallowing the bodies of the three people. Qin Haodong madly used his genuine qi and spat out a large mouthful of blood again. Fortunately, he managed to protect Lin Momo and Qi Wen'er. The two women did not understand why Qin Haodong suddenly threw them down until the sound of the explosion was heard. Two streams of hot liquid sprayed on their faces one after another, and a bloody smell hit their nostrils. Only then did they understand what had happened. Qi Wen'er herself was a strong person, at the level of internal strength. Under Qin Haodong's protection, she was not hurt at all. She was the first to react. She hurriedly shouted, "Haodong, how are you?" "I'm fine." The two injuries made Qin Haodong feel weak. He said, "Davis, that bastard. He put explosives in the biochemical man. When I get out, I'll break his bones." Chapter 306. The three of them were pressed under the stones, and no one could move. Lin Momo also asked nervously, "Haodong, you're vomiting blood. Are you okay?" Qin Haodong said, "It's okay. It's just a small injury. I won't die." Qi Wen'er said, "Don't worry. Sister Wushuang will come to save us soon." Although she had enough cultivation and could easily rush out of the ruins, it would inevitably aggravate Qin Haodong's injury. What she could do now was to wait quietly for help. Then, the three of them were quiet, and no one spoke. Qin Haodong's posture remained the same. He was still like an eagle, protecting the two women in his arms with his two arms. Under the heavy pressure of the ruins, he could not move at all, and he could not even wipe the blood on the corner of his mouth. Qi Wen'er's heart was full of warmth and sweetness for being protected in Qin Haodong's arms. As the eldest daughter of the Qin family, she had always put down her pride to pursue Qin Haodong. Although she had enough courage and had a deep love for Qin Haodong, she still had a little regret in her heart. In her opinion, Qin Haodong had always refused her before. Although he finally agreed to let her be his girlfriend, he must love Lin Momo more. Through what happened today, she had seen that she and Lin Momo were equally important in Qin Haodong's heart, and he could also protect them at the risk of his life. Thinking about it, she was a little crazy. She even hoped that time would stop at this moment, and she would live in this love forever. At this time, a drop of warm liquid fell on her cheek. Qi Wen'er then realized that Qin Haodong was still suffering from serious internal injuries, and he could not even wipe the blood on the corner of his mouth. Thinking of this, she gently raised her chin, stretched out the tip of her tongue, and licked the blood on the corner of Qin Haodong's mouth. For a moment, a strong smell of blood filled her taste buds, but there was only love in her heart. Qin Haodong was slightly stunned. He did not expect that Qi Wen'er would help him wipe the blood in this unique way. Fortunately, it was absolutely dark under the ruins, and the small movements between them were not seen by Lin Momo, which saved him some embarrassment. Lin Momo didn't say anything. Her heart was full of guilt and self-blame. If she hadn't had that night with Tang long before, she wouldn't have brought trouble to Qin Haodong, let alone hurt him. But she could never imagine that without that encounter, she would not have fallen in love with Qin Haodong today. Outside the ruins, when the explosion occurred, Saber and the others immediately rushed over and began to rescue the three people under the ruins. Then the entire Daddy security company sounded the alarm. Nailan Wushuang immediately rushed to the scene of the explosion with Zhang Tiniu and the others. Seeing the destroyed room, Nailan Wushuang asked, "What happened? What happened here?" Saber raised his head in a hurry and said, "I don't know why there was an explosion. Boss, Miss Lin, and Miss Qin were all buried under it." Hearing that Qin Haodong was pressed under the ruins, Nailan Wushuang's face suddenly changed and she shouted in a hoarse voice, "Hurry up and save him." After saying that, she was the first to rush in. Although there were many people in Daddy's security company, the area of the ruins was very small. In the end, only Nailan Wushuang, Zhang Tiniu and the others carried out the emergency rescue in the front. Fortunately, these people were all masters at the covert power level, and their speed was much faster than ordinary people. About 5 minutes later, they faintly saw the three people who were buried under the ruins. Nailan Wushuang asked eagerly, "Haodong, how are you? Are you all right?" Afraid that Qin Haodong's words would affect his injury, Qi Wen'er rushed to say, "Sister Wushuang, we are fine. Haodong is injured." Hearing that Qin Haodong's life was not in danger, Nalan Wushuang was relieved, and then she hurriedly shouted, "Everyone, hurry up and get Haodong out." A few minutes later, everyone cleared away the debris on top of the three people. Chi Won'er moved and walked out of the debris with Qin Haodong in her arms. "Haodong, how are you? Is your injury serious?" Nalan Wushuang's face was full of concern, and Zhang Tiniu, Saber and the others were also watching nervously. Qin Haodong smiled with difficulty and said, "I'm fine. It's just a little internal injury. I just need to find a place for me to circulate my qi and regulate my breathing." Chi Won'er hurriedly carried him to a clean room, carefully put him on the ground, and then helped him sit cross-legged. Qin Haodong took out a healing elixir, put it into his mouth, and began to treat his injury. Chi Won'er and the others left the room and gently closed the door. Nalan Wushuang asked, "What the hell is going on? Why did it suddenly explode?" Chi Won'er told them about the cyborg, and finally said, "It was my fault. I thought it would be fine after the signal was cut off. I didn't expect that the cyborg was equipped with a self-exploding device. Haodong was injured in order to protect us." Lin Momo said with self-blame, "It has nothing to do with Sister Won'er. It's my fault. If it weren't for me, these things wouldn't have happened." Nalan Wushuang comforted them and said, "Well, it's over. Don't blame yourself. Fortunately, Haodong was only a little injured, and there was not much danger." After that, the three of them stopped talking and quietly waited in front of Qin Haodong's door. They all loved the same person and knew each other's mind, but they didn't have much hostility at this time. They just hoped that Qin Haodong could get better as soon as possible. Qin Haodong seemed to spit out 2 mouthfuls of blood, but in fact his internal injury was not too serious. It was just because the explosion was too violent that his internal organs were shaken. However, the genuine qi of evergreen tree was the best healing medicine. After running the genuine qi 3 times, his injuries were almost healed. An hour later, he walked out of the room in high spirits, but his ragged clothes looked a little funny. "Haodong, how are you? Are you all right?" Seeing him walking out of the room, the 3 women all wanted to jump into his arms, but when they thought of the other 2, they restrained themselves. The atmosphere was a little awkward for a while. "I'm fine. Are you hurt?" Qin Haodong said to Lin Momo and Chi Won'er. "We're fine too," the 2 answered together. After that, the 4 people gathered together, as if they had lost a common topic for a while. Just when Qin Haodong wanted to ease the awkward atmosphere, Lin Momo's cell phone suddenly rang. The phone was from Lu Yage. When Lin Momo pressed the answer button, she heard Lu Yage say eagerly, "Momo, is that you? Are you all right? How is Haodong? Is he all right?" It was very quiet around, and Lu Yage's eager voice could be heard clearly by others. Lin Momo was stunned at first, and then she said, "I'm fine, and Haodong is fine. What's wrong with you? Why do you suddenly ask about this?" "It's okay. It's okay. It really scared me to death." On the other side of the phone, Lu Yage breathed a sigh of relief and said, "I don't know who made the rumor that you and Haodong were assassinated by killers and both of you were blown up. Now the internet is full of such rumors. Now many reporters have rushed to Tangmin Company after hearing the news, and they are waiting outside the door. And the employees in the company have also heard the news. They are so flustered that they can't produce normally. Sister Lu, don't worry. Tell the employees that we are fine, and we'll go back soon. Let them work at ease. Tell the reporters to wait for a while. When they see me and Haodong, they will automatically refute the rumors." Lin Momo hung up the phone and turned to look at Qin Haodong. "It seems that Wilson Company must think that we are dead, so they spread this rumor. The purpose is to destroy the production of the blood revival elixir." Qin Haodong took Lin Momo's hand and said, "Let's go back now." "Wait a minute," Nalan Wushuang said. "Look at you now. Anyone who sees you will know that you were indeed assassinated. You should take a bath and change your clothes before going back." Qin Haodong and Lin Momo looked at each other. Both of them were covered in dust and their clothes were ragged. It was really not suitable for them to appear in public. So they quickly rushed into the bathroom of Daddy's security company and took a bath as fast as they could. Nalan Wushuang found 2 new sets of clothes for them to change into. Then they got in the car and rushed to Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, under the escort of Saber and others. After getting in the car, Qin Haodong took out his mobile phone and looked at it. At this time, the news about him and Lin Momo had dominated the headlines of major online media. Qin Haodong, the inventor of the blood revival elixir, was assassinated at noon today. I don't know whether it was a crime of passion or murder. Qin Haodong, the major shareholder of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, and Lin Momo, the president, both died because of a third party. The blood revival elixir is a scam. The patient died after taking the elixir, and his family killed the inventor, Qin Haodong. The blood revival elixir can cure leukemia is a complete lie. When the country is about to investigate, the person in charge both committed suicide. All kinds of news about them were flooding the internet, but they all had one thing in common. They all believed that Qin Haodong and Lin Momo were dead. These news caused a stir on the internet. However, due to the tight security of Daddy Security Company, there were no pictures of the explosion. At the same time, it also caused many people to speculate and doubt. Qin Haodong handed the mobile phone to Lin Momo and said with a smile, "It seems that the people of Wilson's company are quite confident. They think that they can kill me with a cyborg. I wonder how surprised they will be when we show up." Lin Momo put down the mobile phone, looked at him with burning eyes and said, "In fact, it's not their fault. If you hadn't risked your life to protect me today, I would have been dead now." Qin Haodong said, "In fact, I was too careless. I forgot that these people could do something to a cyborg. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened." Lin Momo sighed and said, "In the final analysis, it's my fault. If I hadn't been drunk, this wouldn't have happened." Qin Haodong didn't want her to blame herself, so he quickly comforted her. "How can you say that? If you hadn't been drunk, we wouldn't have such a lovely daughter like Tang Tang." Lin Momo didn't speak again, but she was still depressed. While talking, they returned to Tangmin Company. As soon as they entered the door, they were immediately surrounded by a large group of reporters. Qin Haodong took Lin Momo's hand and walked out of the car together. The cameras in the reporters' hands flashed. When they saw that the two of them were intact, all the rumors on the internet disappeared. Of course, these reporters didn't want to go back without accomplishing anything, so they gathered around and asked, "Mr. Qin, have you seen the news on the internet? What do you think about it? President Lin, where did you and Mr. Qin go? Dr. Qin, it's widely said on the internet that you and Miss Lin met a killer. Is it true?" Qin Haodong stopped and said, "Momo and I are standing here. You should know that the rumors on the internet are all rumors. Those who have evil intentions against Tangmin Company will pay the price sooner or later." As he said this, he looked at the camera with a deep gaze. Chapter 307. In the underground laboratory of M Country, Davis was shocked when he saw Qin Haodong on the big screen. It was as if Qin Haodong's eyes had pierced the depths of his soul. Garnett smashed the wine glass in his hand onto the ground and roared angrily, "Devil! Is he a devil? Why didn't he die? Why didn't so many explosives kill him?" After Davis returned to normal, he said, "I told you that Qin Haodong is not simple. Your plan number 1 won't work at all. If I want to get the formula of the blood revival elixir, I can only rely on my plan number 2. Garnett said, "Your plan number 2 is too slow. Why don't you use my plan number 3? Davis looked at him and said, "Why don't you use your plan number 3, and I'll use my plan number 2. Let's see who will succeed in the end." Garnett said angrily, "I won't lose to you this time." Davis chuckled, "My dear old buddy, what you should do now is to transfer $10 million to my account. My little lover has been wanting an Aston Martin sports car from me for a long time. Now you can buy it for her." After that, he left the laboratory happily, leaving Garnett with an angry face. At Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, When the workers saw that Qin Haodong and Lin Momo had come back intact, they immediately devoted themselves to the production of the blood revival elixir. Things had finally stabilized, but Lin Momo's low mood had not been relieved. This situation continued until the evening. Even when the little fellow had fallen asleep, she still stared at the ceiling with dull eyes. No one knew what she was thinking about. Qin Haodong pulled her hand and said, "Momo, what are you thinking about?" Lin Momo remained silent and did not speak. Qin Haodong came to her side, lay down close to her and said, "What's wrong? Are you unhappy? Do you want to go to the next room, and I'll let you feel like a knight?" He had wanted to make Lin Momo happy, but as soon as he said this, Lin Momo threw herself into his arms and cried. Qin Haodong quickly comforted her. "What's wrong? Why are you crying? Did today's explosion scare you?" Lin Momo choked and said, "Haodong, I don't deserve you. Were you scared by today's explosion? Why are you spouting nonsense? Look at you. You're so beautiful. And you're also the CEO of 2 companies. I'm the one who doesn't deserve you." Lin Momo continued to choke with sobs. "But I didn't give my first time to you. On the contrary, I brought you so much trouble. If I hadn't made a mistake that time, Wilson Company wouldn't have found the flaw and come to trouble us again and again. This is not your fault at all. But I blame myself. It's my fault. I don't deserve you." Lin Momo suddenly pushed him away and said, "Let's break up." Qin Haodong said in surprise, "What are you talking about? We were fine. Why did we break up? You are so outstanding. I can see that both Wu Shuang and Wan are like you. They are both good girls. Any one of them would be better than me." "Go find them. Don't come to me again." Qin Haodong was speechless. He didn't expect that today's explosion would have such a big side effect, evoking Lin Momo's infinite inferiority complex. "Momo, don't think that way. In fact, I really don't care." "You don't care, but I do. I'm a woman who has given birth to a child. I don't deserve you." Lin Momo cried excitedly. "Go now. We'll have a working relationship in the future. Don't have any private contact." Qin Haodong didn't expect that Lin Momo would care so much about this matter. Originally, he wanted to tell her the secret when he reached the Gold Core realm. Now it seemed that he had to do it in advance. "Momo, in fact, there's a secret I've been hiding from you. Some people said that women were the most curious animals." Sure enough, although Lin Momo was out of control at this time, she still asked, "What secret?" Qin Haodong said, "Actually, I'm Tang Long." Lin Momo was stunned at first, and then she said with shame and indignation, "Qin Haodong, is this interesting? There have been 2 fake Tang Long, and you're still laughing at me with this." "I'm really Tang Long." Qin Haodong said, "You must believe me. Otherwise, why do you think I could tell at a glance that those 2 were fake? Because I'm the real one." "Qin Haodong, don't you think this reason is very funny? Let's part on good terms. Go now." It was no wonder that Lin Momo couldn't believe it. No one would associate Qin Haodong with Tang Long. "I'm telling the truth. Listen to me." Qin Haodong began to tell the story from the night he met Lin Momo to the cultivation world, and how he failed the tribulation and was reincarnated in Qin Haodong's body. Lin Momo was completely dumbfounded. It took her 3 minutes to digest what Qin Haodong had said. Then she asked incredulously, "Haodong, are you sure you're not telling a story?" "Of course not." Qin Haodong said, "Although I'm a little lazy, I still like to give birth myself. I don't like other people's children. The reason why I'm so good to Tang Tang is that she's my daughter. So don't have any psychological burden. I'm your first man, and Tang Tang is also my daughter. The 3 of us are a family." Lin Momo looked at Qin Haodong in a daze. Then she shook her head and said, "It's impossible. You must have made up a story to deceive me. It's impossible." Qin Haodong said with a wry smile, "It's because my experience is so unbelievable that I haven't told you. But it's true. I don't believe it. I still can't believe you're Tang Long." Seeing that Lin Momo didn't believe him, Qin Haodong thought for a moment and said, "Well, I'll tell you what happened that night. You can tell me if I'm Tang Long." After a pause, he said, "We stayed in the Orange Hotel that night. We used your ID card to get the room. The room number was 508. Lin Momo was slightly stunned and said, "Although what you said is correct, the people of Wilson Company can also find it." It doesn't prove that you're Tang Long. Well, you were wearing a white dress and red high heels that day. It's not a secret. Many people can see it. Seeing that Lin Momo didn't believe him, Qin Haodong finally took out his trump card. You were wearing a black bra and a pair of black lace shorts that day. Well, Lin Momo didn't expect that Qin Haodong would even say this. Her eyes suddenly widened, and then her face turned red. Since he had opened his mouth, Qin Haodong didn't mean to stop. He continued, "You didn't like being a knight until today. The first time that night was when you pushed me down. You did it 5 times in a row. You were on top of me 3 times. Later, you bit my left shoulder." As he was speaking, Lin Momo covered his mouth with her hand. Shock, joy, and shyness. At this time, Lin Momo's emotions were extremely complicated. What he had just said was the absolute privacy of her and Tang Long. It was impossible for others to know in any case. It seemed that Qin Haodong didn't lie. He was really the reincarnation of Tang Long. Although she completely believed him in her heart, she couldn't help but ask, "Are you really Tang Long?" Qin Haodong said solemnly, "I told you that I am Tang Long. Do you want me to repeat what happened that night?" "You bad guy. Why didn't you tell me earlier?" Lin Momo threw herself into Qin Haodong's arms and cried again. But this time her tears were more of joy. Although God played a joke on her, in the end, this perfect man was sent back to her. Qin Haodong also held Lin Momo tightly in his arms. After telling this secret, Lin Momo no longer had any obstacles in her heart. He also felt much more relaxed. They could be together in the future without any burden. After a moment of hugging, Lin Momo's mood slowly returned to normal. She said, "Haodong, do you think Wilson Company will come to trouble us again in the future?" Qin Haodong said, "Let them come. It's no big deal. Sometimes bad things can become good things." Although he had excellent medical skills, he didn't know how to run a company. Lin Momo was also involved in the pharmaceutical industry for the first time. Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company had just been established, so there must be some flaws and hidden dangers. In contrast, Wilson Company, which was in the light, was just a whetstone to help them test their flaws. It was much better than being stabbed by other competitors in the future. Only by solving all the existing problems could they go further. That was why he was not in a hurry to find Davis to settle accounts. "Well, with you here, I'm not afraid of anything." Lin Momo snuggled in Qin Haodong's arms, listening to him talk about interesting things in the cultivation world. Occasionally, she would pour out what had been on her mind over the years. That night, the two of them did not sleep. Because of this experience, Lin Momo had become colder and colder in recent years. It was not until Qin Haodong appeared that she slowly improved. However, it was only improved, but not completely removed. It was not until this moment that her heart was completely opened, and she regained her enthusiastic and unrestrained character. The next day, Lin Momo and Qin Haodong went out of the room to do morning exercises. Although they didn't sleep all night, they looked full of spirit. "Dad, good morning." Lin Momo stepped forward and greeted Lin Ziyuan, who was practicing Tai Chi. Lin Ziyuan trembled all over, and almost sprained his waist. He hadn't heard his daughter say good morning to him for many years. What was wrong with her today? He rubbed his eyes and looked at Lin Momo, thinking that he had just heard it wrong. "Dad, why are you looking at me like this? Don't you know me?" Lin Momo said with a smile like a flower. "Momo, are you all right?" Lin Ziyuan was shocked by his daughter's great change. He was really afraid that Lin Momo had been stimulated. "Nothing. You practice Tai Chi slowly. I'm going to run with Haodong." After that, she took Qin Haodong's hand, and they ran together to the path of the villa area. Looking at Lin Momo's back, Lin Ziyuan's eyes flashed. His once enthusiastic and cheerful daughter finally came back, all thanks to the appearance of Qin Haodong. The family had a happy breakfast together. When Qin Haodong was about to go to work with Lin Momo, the phone in his pocket rang. It was Gao Fengwen. "Mr. Gao, what's the matter?" Qin Haodong pressed the answer button and said. He had great respect for this old man, who devoted himself to the cause of traditional Chinese medicine. Here's the thing, Dr. Qin. At 9 o'clock this morning, our Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association will have a meeting. Do you have time to attend? Gao Fengwen said very politely. Although Qin Haodong was much younger than him, his character and medical skills had completely won his respect. When speaking, he even used honorifics. Chapter 308. Alright, please tell me the location, Elder Gao. I'll be there in a moment. Qin Haodong was very concerned about traditional Chinese medicine, so he immediately agreed. That's great, Dr. Qin. I was afraid that you wouldn't come. Gao Fengwen excitedly told Qin Haodong an address. Qin Haodong and Lin Momo sent the little fellow to the kindergarten and then drove in the direction of the address. When they arrived, they found that it was an abandoned primary school that looked a little shabby. As soon as he parked the car, Gao Fengwen, Zhong Sihai, and Shen Xiangfu greeted him. Dr. Qin, you are here. The three of them warmly greeted each other. Qin Haodong responded to them one by one and asked, Mr. Gao, is our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association working here? Gao Fengwen said awkwardly, I'm sorry, Dr. Qin. The office conditions here are a bit bad. But our Jiangnan Traditional Chinese Medicine Association is a non-governmental organization set up by us old guys. We don't have any funds or office space, so we can only make do here. Shen Xiangfu said. It was old Gao who found this place. He once cured the illness of the principal of this primary school, so he temporarily borrowed it as the office of our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. But I heard that this primary school will be auctioned soon. I don't know where we can move in the future. While talking, several people crowded around Qin Haodong and walked into the office room of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. It used to be a primary school conference room. Although it looked a little shabby, it was still very spacious. There were already 70 or 80 people sitting in it. These people didn't look young. Some of them were even a few years older than Gao Fengwen. Their eyebrows and beards showed that they were real old Chinese medicine practitioners. After entering the door, Gao Fengwen said to the crowd, Let me introduce you to Qin Haodong, the medical sage of the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Circle. He once cured old Maldini's head tumor without surgery. A few days ago, he defeated the Neon People's provocation of the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Circle. Now he invented the blood revival elixir that shocked the whole country. Dr. Qin has brought honor to our traditional Chinese medicine and let the whole world see the ability of our traditional Chinese medicine. He is the leader of our traditional Chinese medicine and the pride of our Jiangnan traditional Chinese medicine. Let's applaud and welcome him. After his introduction, the audience immediately applauded. Although the old men were old, they were still very excited to see Qin Haodong. Medical sage, you are the pride of Chinese medicine. Medical sage, I want to learn from you. I want to be your disciple. Medical sage, you are my idol. I heard that you are not married yet. Be my son-in-law. Qin Haodong was startled by these old men. He didn't expect them to be so enthusiastic at such an age. What was going on with the old man who asked him to be his son-in-law? You look over 80 years old. Your daughter should be at least 50 years old, right? Shen Xiangfu said. Dr. Qin, we old guys often talk about the miracles you have created in traditional Chinese medicine. Everyone admires you very much. Gao Fengwen said. Dr. Qin, you are the role model of our traditional Chinese medicine community. Can you join our Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association? He was smiling when he spoke, but Qin Haodong felt weird, like an old fox looking at a chicken. But he couldn't figure out what was wrong. Zhong Sihai also said, Yes, Dr. Qin. The Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association is full of old men like us. We are in urgent need of a young and promising force like you. Shen Xiangfu said to the audience, Let's applaud together and welcome Dr. Qin to our Chinese Medicine Association. There was a burst of applause in the venue. Although these people were not young, they were worthy of studying traditional Chinese medicine. They were all in good health, and their applause was no less than that of the young people. The applause was like thunder and lasted for a long time. Qin Haodong was moved by everyone's enthusiasm. He said, "Well, since you don't mind my young age and lack of experience, I will join our Chinese Medicine Association." Gao Fengwen said excitedly, "That's great, Dr. Qin. Welcome to our Chinese Medicine Association." Next, he asked Qin Haodong to sit on the rostrum with the three of them, and then said to the audience, "Today is the triennial election of our Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association. I propose that Dr. Qin be the president of our Chinese Medicine Association." Shen Xiangfu and Zhong Sihai also said, "We also propose that Dr. Qin be the president of our Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association." Only then did Qin Haodong know what the problem was. It turned out that these old guys invited him to join them in order to make him the president of the Chinese Medicine Association. He quickly said, "Mr. Gao, everyone, this is not appropriate. I just joined the association. How can I be our president? There's nothing inappropriate about it." Gao Fengwen said with a smile, "According to the rules of our Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association, the next president will be nominated by the previous president, as long as you are a member of our association. If everyone votes more than 50%, you will immediately become the next president." Then he said to the audience, "Now let's vote. Those who agree that Dr. Qin will be the president of our Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association, please raise your hand." As soon as he finished speaking, all the old men under the stage raised their hands, and some even raised both hands. It was no wonder. Although Qin Haodong looked a little young, his achievements on behalf of traditional Chinese medicine were solid enough to win the respect of these seniors. "Well, it's a unanimous decision." Gao Fengwen turned to Qin Haodong and said, "President Qin, from now on, the Chinese Medicine Association will be handed over to you. I'm officially retiring." Qin Haodong was still in a daze. How did he join the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association and become the president of the association in a daze? "Mr. Gao, this is not appropriate. It's really not appropriate. You are highly respected. The position of president must be yours. Don't make it difficult for me." Gao Fengwen stopped smiling and sighed. "Dr. Qin, to tell you the truth, I'm really ashamed of the title of president of the Chinese Medicine Association. You know the current situation of traditional Chinese medicine. In order to save the decline of traditional Chinese medicine, we old men gathered together to establish the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association in order to make traditional Chinese medicine have a better development, so that the treasure handed down by our ancestors will not disappear in our hands. But 9 years have passed. Although we have worked hard, we have achieved little. Traditional Chinese medicine is still going downhill every day until you showed up and gave us hope. It's not that I'm modest, but old people have limited energy and are old-fashioned. Dr. Qin, you have medical skills and ability, so I think the position of president of the Chinese Medicine Association must be yours. Only under your leadership can traditional Chinese medicine have the hope of revitalizing." Speaking of this, Gao Fengwen stood up and bowed deeply to Qin Haodong. "Our Gao family has been practicing medicine for generations. Chinese medicine is the treasure of the whole Huaxia. Everyone here doesn't want to see the foundation handed down by our ancestors be destroyed in the hands of our generation. We won't be able to face our ancestors after we die. Dr. Qin, I beg you, for the future of traditional Chinese medicine, please take this hard job." After he finished speaking, under the leadership of Zhong Sihai and Shen Xiangfu, all the old Chinese medicine practitioners in the room bowed to Qin Haodong and shouted, "Dr. Qin, for the sake of traditional Chinese medicine, please be the president." Looking at these white-haired old men, Qin Haodong's heart was full of emotion. Although traditional Chinese medicine was declining, after all, there were still people working hard. They were fighting. "Seniors, since you all value me so much, then I won't refuse anymore." Qin Haodong said loudly, "I promise you that from today on, I will do my best to revitalize traditional Chinese medicine. As long as I, Qin Haodong, am alive, I will fight for the cause of traditional Chinese medicine. I will never regret it. I will never flinch. I will never regret it. I will never flinch. The old Chinese medicine practitioners present were ignited by his words, so they raised their arms and shouted together. After the new president was elected, everyone sat down again. Gao Fengwen said to Qin Haodong, "President, please say a few words for us." "I'm not in a hurry. Let me know the situation of our Chinese Medicine Association first." Qin Haodong said, "Mr. Gao, the purpose of setting up the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association is to develop traditional Chinese medicine. What has the association done around this goal?" Gao Fengwen said, "Our Chinese Medicine Association mainly carries out two things. First, we regularly provide free medical treatment to the people and expand the influence of traditional Chinese medicine. Second, we carry out internal communication in the association to exchange treatment experience with each other for difficult and complicated diseases." Qin Haodong nodded and asked, "That's all? Nothing else?" Gao Fengwen said with a little embarrassment, "That's all we can do at the moment." Qin Haodong sighed secretly. No wonder the Chinese Medicine Association hadn't developed much for so many years. They hadn't found the direction of development from the root. It was a good thing to provide free medical treatment to the people, but it was still far from revitalizing traditional Chinese medicine by relying on this alone. The internal communication was far from perfect. People in the traditional Chinese medicine industry were used to keeping their own secrets. It was okay for them to exchange experience with each other, but no one was willing to take out their own unique skills. In the end, some unique skills and secret recipes were slowly lost. He asked again, "Mr. Gao, how many people are there in our association?" 78 in total. "How many traditional Chinese medicine practitioners are there in Jiangnan City?" Gao Fengwen said, "About 300 people have registered with the Sanitary Bureau and obtained the physician's qualification certificate." "Oh, only 78 out of 300 traditional Chinese medicine practitioners had joined." Qin Haodong said, "It seems that the coverage of our Chinese Medicine Association is not enough." Shun Xiangfu said, "There are not many people in our Chinese Medicine Association. There are several main reasons for this. On the one hand, the purpose of our association is to develop traditional Chinese medicine. We often go out for free medical treatment, which is unprofitable. This makes some traditional Chinese medicine practitioners, who only want to make money, very disapprove of us and choose to refuse to join. There are 5 famous clinics in the field of traditional Chinese medicine in Jiangnan, including Mr. Gao's Desho Hall, Mr. Zhong's Huichun Hall, Fu Hailong's Xuanhu Hall, Lu Baikuan's Jishir Hall, and my Baichao Hall. Now 3 of the leaders of the 5 clinics have come, and the other 2 old guys are greedy for money. They have never thought about how to make money if traditional Chinese medicine really collapses." Speaking of this, Shun Xiangfu looked very angry. After calming down, he continued, "There are also some people who are used to fighting on their own and don't want to join our organization. In addition to those who don't want to join us, there are also some people we don't want. These people are not good enough. The purpose of joining the Chinese Medicine Association is to gild themselves, so that they can use the name of the Chinese Medicine Association to deceive people to make money. Their motives are not pure. We directly refuse such people." After he finished speaking, Qin Haodong basically knew the current situation of the Chinese Medicine Association. Gao Fengwen looked at Qin Haodong, who was thoughtful, and said, "President Qin, you are young and have a flexible mind. Do you have any good ideas for the future development of our Chinese Medicine Association?" Chapter 309. Then I'll talk about my personal opinion. Qin Haodong looked at the audience and said, I have 3 opinions about the next development of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. First, we should improve our internal communication. Mr. Gao just said that we had internal communication before, but it was limited to the exchange of experience between each other. It couldn't improve each other's medical skills. What I want to say is that everyone should take out their unique skills, and at least take out a part for others to learn. Only in this way can we really improve our medical skills. Only when our medical skills are improved will the development of traditional Chinese medicine not be empty talk. After he said that, the audience was silent. Although everyone agreed with Qin Haodong, people were selfish. Some old Chinese medicine practitioners claimed that their treatment methods were ancestral secret prescriptions, which were not passed on to outsiders. How could they take them out? Gao Fengwen frowned slightly. In his opinion, Qin Haodong's idea was still a little naive and unrealistic. Many Chinese medicine practitioners regarded their secret prescriptions as more important than their lives. How could they take them out and share them with others? Qin Haodong said, I know what you are thinking. Chinese medicine belongs to our Huaxia people. As long as you take out your unique skills, it will benefit the people of Huaxia. Of course, I don't want you to make contributions for free. I want to set up an evaluation group with Mr. Gao and a few others. After everyone takes out their secret prescriptions, we will evaluate them and give them financial compensation according to the value of the secret prescriptions, starting from 10,000 yuan and up to 1 million yuan. The audience was in an uproar. No one had expected that the young president would make such a big offer as soon as he took office. The huge reward was enough to move everyone, but they knew the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association's financial resources. Even the venue was borrowed. How could they have the money to give out bonuses? Qin Haodong continued. As the president, let me start first. I have a set of acupuncture methods of yin-yang acupuncture. I'm willing to give it to our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association for free. After the meeting, I'll print it into a book and give it to everyone. What? Yin-yang acupuncture? Gao Fengwen and the others were shocked by Qin Haodong's words. When they heard Qin Haodong said yin-yang acupuncture, they suddenly opened their mouths in surprise. As old doctors of traditional Chinese medicine, it was impossible for them not to have heard of the yin-yang acupuncture. It was definitely one of the top 5 acupuncture techniques in the history of traditional Chinese medicine in Huaxia. It had a miraculous effect on balancing yin and yang and dredging meridians. However, it had been lost for many years. They did not expect that Qin Haodong would have this acupuncture technique and share it with them for free. The exchange is just an idea of mine. We'll discuss it later. Qin Haodong continued. My second idea is to establish a school of traditional Chinese medicine. If we want to develop traditional Chinese medicine, it's definitely not enough to rely on the seniors. No matter how well you do, after 10 or 20 years, when you pass away, who will we rely on? He had to rely on the younger generation. Therefore, if we want to develop traditional Chinese medicine, we must establish a foothold and cultivate young people. This time, Gao Fengwen spoke. President, both of your suggestions are good, but they both require money. Our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association has no funds. How can we make the bonus? How are we going to run a school? The others also looked disapproving, although they thought that Qin Haodong's words made sense, and the idea of encouraging people to take out their unique skills by means of rewards was also novel. These things all needed money. Without money, it would be an empty dream. Qin Haodong smiled and said, so the third point I mentioned is to make money. The Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, and all of you here need money. No one can live without money, so making money is the most basic. Profit is the foundation of the development of traditional Chinese medicine. Whether it is the development of a country or the development of an industry, it is absolutely impossible to develop without economic foundation. Zheng Sihai said, but how can our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association make money? We can't charge for free medical treatment, can we? Of course not. We will do more free medical treatment in the future, and it will be free, Qin Haodong said. If the association wants to make money, there are two main ways. First, we can turn everyone's medical skills into money as soon as possible. It's not enough to rely on seeing patients alone. If anyone has a very valuable prescription, you can give it to me, such as the blood revival elixir. At that time, Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company will help to mass produce it. 80% of the profit will go to the owner of the prescription, and 20% to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. After hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up at first, and then they felt infinite admiration. This was equivalent to Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company contributing to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association for free, which was equivalent to Qin Haodong donating to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association in disguise. Gao Fengwen said, "President Qin, this is a good idea, but it is a long-term plan. We can't make money for the time being. Tell me about your second way." Qin Haodong said, "The second way is to let some rich people who love traditional Chinese medicine donate to our association. When we have the first sum of money, we can set up a traditional Chinese medicine school. Everyone will go to the TV station to give some health lectures, and the school will open some health classes. Then we can be self-sufficient. Donate." Gao Fengwen smiled bitterly. "Dr. Qin, to tell you the truth, I have tried in the past few years, but many people are not optimistic about the traditional Chinese medicine industry. No one is willing to donate to us. The others were also disappointed. Donations were too unreliable. Who would donate to traditional Chinese medicine in this day and age?" At this moment, the cell phone in Qin Haodong's pocket rang. "Excuse me, I have to take this call first." He pressed the answer button, and old Maldini's stiff Huaxia language came from the other side. "Dear Dr. Qin, how are you?" "I'm fine, old Maldini. How are you?" "How are you?" "Good, that's great," old Maldini said excitedly. "After taking your physique-improving pill, I feel like I'm young again. I can kill a cow with one punch." "Old Maldini, you didn't call me just to say this, did you? What else do you want?" Old Maldini said in an exaggerated tone. "Dr. Qin, you are so smart. I called you mainly for two things. First, congratulations on developing such a magical thing as the blood revival elixir. Chinese medicine is so amazing that I have nothing to say. I now wonder if God is a Chinese. Why do miracles happen to you? Even you know about this?" Qin Haodong was slightly surprised. Although the blood revival elixir had caused a great sensation, it was only limited to the pharmaceutical industry. He didn't expect that this foreign old man would also know about it. Old Maldini said, "Of course. I'm not a doctor, but I'm an investor. I control 5 multinational investment companies. Of course, I have to keep abreast of the latest developments in the world and find the most valuable projects. Dr. Qin, are you interested in cooperating with me? I can invest as much as you want in the blood revival elixir. You can decide the proportion of profits." If other people in the financial world heard this, their glasses would be broken. Old Maldini had always been known for his rigorous and harsh investment. He had never been so generous. Qin Haodong smiled slightly. The foreign old man was really sharp. He saw the value of the blood revival elixir at once, but he had no interest in cooperating with him now. "Old Maldini, my factory has already started production. If there is a chance, let's cooperate next time. Now let's talk about the second thing. Dr. Qin, it's a pity that I can't cooperate with you." On the other side of the phone, old Maldini shook his head and continued. "Dr. Qin, in fact, I'm asking you for medical treatment this time." "Medical treatment? Didn't you just say that you're in good health? Is there something wrong with you again?" Qin Haodong felt a little strange. After taking the physique-improving pill, old Maldini would not get sick in the next few years. "No, it's my son Maldini Jr. He's not in good health. After seeing the magic of traditional Chinese medicine, I want to trouble you to take a look at him. He's very obsessed with traditional Chinese medicine now, and he's also your fan. In your Huaxia language, he's a crazy fan." Qin Haodong said, "Oh, Well, we're friends. Let him come here. I can treat him at any time. Only Qin Haodong had the confidence to ask Maldini Jr. to come here, without even asking what the disease was. Old Maldini said, "That's great, Qin. I knew you would definitely help me. As long as you can cure my son's disease, you can ask for as much as you want." "Mr. Old Maldini, we're already friends. I'll treat Mr. Maldini Jr. free of charge." Speaking of this, Qin Haodong changed the topic. "But Mr. Old Maldini, are you interested in donating some money to public welfare? I've just taken over as the president of the Jiangnan Traditional Chinese Medicine Association. For the development of traditional Chinese medicine, I need a little love from you." Old Maldini immediately said, "Of course, Dr. Qin. My love donations reach 10 figures every year. Tell me, how much do you want me to donate? Is 100 million enough? Oh, by the way, I'm talking about US dollars." The meeting room was very quiet, so Gao Fengwen and the others clearly heard the conversation between Qin Haodong and Old Maldini. After hearing the number that Qin Haodong said, the old men almost slid down from their chairs. A donation of 100 million US dollars? How big was that? Qin Haodong had just said that no one would donate to traditional Chinese medicine. In the blink of an eye, Qin Haodong had spent 100 million US dollars. It was a miracle, but everyone knew that the money was not much different from what Qin Haodong had taken out of his pocket. The reason why Old Maldini donated was entirely because of Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong said, "That's enough. Thank you, Old Maldini. Welcome to Huaxia in the future. I'll treat you to Huaxia food." "You're welcome, Mr. Qin. I have your account number here. I'll transfer the money to you in 10 minutes. Old Maldini deserved to be the most famous investor in the world. He was good at investing, and he was even better at judging people. He had already seen that Qin Haodong was definitely a big shot worth making friends with, so he was not stingy when it came to spending money. He donated 100 million US dollars. This had nothing to do with his son coming to Huaxia to see a doctor, because he knew that his investment in Qin Haodong would never suffer a loss. After talking about the donation, Old Maldini said again, "Dr. Qin, Maldini Jr. has set off. He is expected to arrive in Jiangnan City in 7 or 8 hours. I'll call you then." "Okay, I'll wait for his call." Qin Haodong hung up the phone and turned to the audience with a smile. "Everyone, the first donation of our Chinese Medicine Association has been received. The number is 100 million US dollars. "What? 100 million US dollars? The old men in the audience had only heard about Qin Haodong's donation, but they did not know the amount that Old Maldini had donated. At this time, when they heard 100 million US dollars, they immediately opened their mouths in surprise. Some old men were so shocked that their false teeth even fell to the ground. No one in Huaxia could get a donation of 100 million US dollars just by talking. From today on, the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association would no longer have to worry about funds. Chapter 310. Then, everyone present had infinite respect for Qin Haodong. Before, they respected Qin Haodong's medical skills, but now they respected his medical skills, ability, and love for the cause of traditional Chinese medicine. Someone took the lead, and applause rang out in the venue. Then, more and more people applauded, and the sound became louder and louder. Qin Haodong waved his hand, and everyone immediately quieted down. He said, "Now that the money problem has been solved, there must be a lot of things for the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association to do. I can't handle it alone. I suggest that Mr. Gao, Mr. Zhong, and Mr. Shen be the vice presidents of the association to deal with the daily affairs." No one objected to this proposal, and it was unanimously adopted. He added, "In the short term, our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association needs to do 3 things well. First, immediately prepare for the establishment of a traditional Chinese medicine school, recruit students, and cultivate reserves for the development of traditional Chinese medicine. Speaking of this, he turned to Gao Fengwen and said, Mr. Gao, can you contact this primary school to sell? It's a good location. Let's renovate the school building and directly establish a traditional Chinese medicine school here. Even the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association will be located here. Gao Fengwen nodded and said, President's proposal is good. I'll prepare it right away. Qin Haodong turned around and said, The second thing is to hold an internal exchange meeting in a short period of time. I hope that everyone will not be stingy and show their unique skills to improve each other's medical skills. Don't worry, President. We won't hide anything. We promise to show all our unique skills. Yes, President. You've even taken out the acupuncture method of yin-yang acupuncture. What's there to be reluctant about? Yes, President. There's only one girl in my family. If I don't take it out, I won't be able to pass it on. Everyone was inspired by Qin Haodong's personality and said that they would show their unique skills. On behalf of traditional Chinese medicine, I thank you. Qin Haodong stood up, bowed to everyone, and then continued. The third thing is what we're going to do right away. Prepare tomorrow. The day after tomorrow, the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association will hold a large-scale free clinic to promote the reputation of our traditional Chinese medicine. Originally, Gao Fengwen invited Qin Haodong today just to let him take over the position of president. He didn't expect that Qin Haodong would act so quickly and arrange the short-term work in an orderly manner. After the meeting, he took Qin Haodong's hand and sighed sincerely. President Qin, you're really young and promising. The rise of traditional Chinese medicine will depend on you in the future. Qin Haodong said, You're welcome, Mr. Gao. If I want to do a better job in traditional Chinese medicine, I can't do without you seniors. I'll have to trouble you for the future of the association. Gao Fengwen said, President, you've done your job. Leave the rest to us old men. After talking about the future development of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, Qin Haodong returned to Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. He pushed open the door of the president's office and saw Lin Momo fiddling with a big red invitation card. Qin Haodong asked, What is it? Is anyone getting married? Lin Momo said, No, it's an invitation from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. There will be a reception at the Jiangnan Club tonight. They invited me to attend. Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce? Why haven't I heard of it before? You're not a member of this circle, so of course you don't know. Lin Momo said, This is a business circle formed by the upper class of Jiangnan. If you want to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce, your assets must exceed 1 billion yuan. And this is only one of the conditions. More than 2 members must jointly recommend you, and more than half of the members must agree to join. Qin Haodong said carelessly, Is it necessary to be so arrogant? It's so troublesome. Of course it is. Lin Momo giggled and said, The Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce is the largest business circle in Jiangnan City. Once you join, you almost have the business resources of the entire upper class of Jiangnan City. You can directly talk to the financial big shots, standing at the top of the pyramid. We can exchange what we need. It's definitely a rare resource for a businessman. Qin Haodong asked, Are you a member of the Chamber of Commerce? Of course I am. If I'm not a member, I won't receive an invitation. Qin Haodong said with a smile. Well, I originally wanted to eat and drink with you tonight, but now it seems that I can't. That's fine. According to the rules, each member can bring a companion, Lin Momo said. How about I also recommend you to join the Chamber of Commerce? According to your net worth, it's more than 1 billion now. Forget it. I'm just a little doctor. I'm not interested in the Chamber of Commerce. Qin Haodong reached out and held Lin Momo in his arms and said, My wife is a member. There's no need for both of us to join. Lin Momo glanced at him charmingly and said, Who promised to be your wife? Well, not my wife, but my child's mother. Qin Haodong said, as he was about to kiss Lin Momo's delicate red lips. At this time, the phone in his pocket rang. He wanted to ignore it, but Lin Momo pushed him away. You'd better answer the phone first. Don't delay the business. Who's so stupid to disturb me? Qin Haodong said discontentedly, as he took out his phone. The call was from Gao Fengwen. "This old man, we just separated for a while. Why did he call me?" Qin Haodong said as he pressed the answer button. On the other side of the phone, Gao Fengwen said, "President, I've just contacted the school. The price of the school is 50 million. I've consulted a few friends who are in the real estate business. They said that the price is relatively fair. Should we buy the school? 50 million is fine. Let's buy it. Well, I'll go and talk with them about the contract later." Gao Fengwen's tone was full of excitement. After wandering for so many years, the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association finally had its own position. After a pause, he said, "President, there's one more thing. Many people in our association have received invitations from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. They asked us to attend a reception in the evening. Do you think we should go?" "An invitation from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce?" Qin Haodong picked up the big red invitation on the table and played with it in his hand. He said, "This is your personal freedom. It's completely voluntary. Whoever is interested can go. Maybe it can promote Chinese medicine." "I see, President." Gao Fengwen hung up the phone. Qin Haodong smiled and shook his head. He thought that the old man was quite interesting. He even told him such a small thing. Lin Momo said, "What? You're the president? When did it happen? Why didn't you mention it?" "I'm the president of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. I just became the president for less than 2 hours. I haven't had time to tell you yet," Qin Haodong said with a smile. "By the way, didn't you say that only members of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce could attend this reception? Why did so many people in our association receive invitations?" "Chinese medicine practitioners received invitations?" Lin Momo was a little surprised and said, "I don't know. There has never been such a precedent before." After thinking for a moment, she said thoughtfully, "What's going on? What the hell is Wang Hating doing? Haitian Group is in the real estate and financial industry. I've never heard of them entering the pharmaceutical market." Qin Haodong said, "Not in the past doesn't mean that they won't in the future. Now that our blood revival elixir has a huge market effect, maybe they're interested." Lin Momo nodded and said, "Maybe. The value of the blood revival elixir is too great. If you're willing to make money, it won't take long for you to enter the rich list of Huaxia. It's inevitable that people will be jealous. However, you need to have the ability to be jealous. Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was started by you alone. No one else can develop a magic medicine like the blood revival elixir." After work, they took the little fellow home, and then rushed to the Jiangnan Club to attend that evening's reception. Lin Momo changed into a black evening dress, which was sexy but not vulgar. Her skin was white and smooth, and her facial features were so delicate that there was no flaw. Coupled with her long black hair that hung down like a waterfall, any man would drool at the sight of her. While driving, Qin Haodong glanced at Lin Momo and said, "If I had known that you were so beautiful, I would have asked Saber and the others to come with me. How many rivals will you make at the reception?" "Don't worry. In my eyes, you're the only one, because you're the child's father." Lin Momo rarely showed the attitude of a little girl. Then she said, "You're rich now. Why don't you change your clothes? You're always wearing these hundreds of yuan casual clothes. These clothes are comfortable to wear. Besides, you're handsome, so it doesn't matter what you wear." "What do you mean? Are you saying that because I like to dress up, I'm not beautiful?" Qin Haodong originally just wanted to show off, but he didn't expect to get angry. He quickly said, "No, in fact, whatever you wear is upgraded by you. It's because you're beautiful that your clothes look beautiful." "That's more like it." Lin Momo enjoyed her lover's praise very much. Qin Haodong felt that it was easy to get into trouble if he talked about this topic too much, so he wanted to change the topic. At this time, his cell phone rang again. It was a strange number. After the phone was connected, a voice said in Huaxia language, "Hello, medical sage. I'm Maldini Jr. from M Country. I'll arrive in Jiangnan City in more than an hour. Where can I meet you?" Qin Haodong remembered that he was going to treat Maldini Jr. He said, Mr. Maldini Jr., I'm going to attend a reception at the Jiangnan Club. Come to Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company tomorrow. Oh, are you going to the reception at the Jiangnan Club? I just received an invitation from them, but I refused because of the appointment with you. Since you're going, I'll ask my assistant to accept them now. See you at the reception later. Maldini Jr.'s tone was full of excitement. Mr. Medical Sage, I'm so happy to meet you. You know, you're my idol. His enthusiasm was completely different from old Maldini's calmness, which gave people a very good sense of intimacy. After hanging up the phone, Lin Momo asked, The person who called you was Maldini Jr.? He actually came to Jiangnan City? Yes, he came to see me for treatment. Oh my God, Maldini Jr. actually came to Huaxia. I believe many people will go crazy. Qin Haodong asked in surprise. Why? Is Maldini Jr. famous? Famous? Don't you know anything about Maldini Jr.? Qin Haodong spread out his hands and said, I only know that he's old Maldini's son. I don't know anything else. Lin Momo pretended to glare at him in disgust, and then said, Maldini Jr. is a very talented person. He controls the largest Midas investment company under old Maldini. He has sharp eyes and the ability to turn stone into gold. He has made dozens of investment cases over the years without any failure. Everyone says that he will be the best successor to old Maldini. Chapter 311. Oh, Qin Haodong just nodded slightly. As a cultivator, he didn't care about these worldly things. Lin Momo continued to say excitedly, The most rare thing is that Maldini Jr. is still unmarried. He's definitely a world-class bachelor, the object of countless girls' pursuit. Still unmarried? Qin Haodong was slightly surprised and said, Old Maldini is in his 80s this year, and his son should be in his 50s or 60s. Why is he still unmarried? Lin Momo said, You don't know this. Old Maldini has 3 sons. Maldini Jr. is the youngest, and he was born late. He's less than 40 years old this year. After a pause, she said with a puzzled face, But Maldini Jr. has always been healthy. He was on the cover of an economic magazine a few days ago. Why did he come to you for treatment? Qin Haodong shook his head and said, I don't know. I didn't ask him what's wrong with him. It was said that every woman had a heart of gossip, and Lin Momo was no exception. She immediately guessed. Maldini Jr. is still unmarried, and he doesn't even have a girlfriend. Do you think there's something wrong with him in that aspect? Qin Haodong reached out and pinched her leg. He said with a smile, Mom, you think too much. It has nothing to do with you whether there's anything wrong with him or not. You just need to know that I'm fine. You're so annoying. Lin Momo blushed and slapped his big hand away. While talking and laughing, they arrived at the Jiangnan Club. After parking the car, they got out of the car hand in hand and walked to the gate of the club together. Lin Momo's slim-fitting evening dress revealed her graceful figure without reservation. Her smooth lines were enough to make any world-famous model feel ashamed of their inferiority. Along the way, she attracted the jealous eyes of countless women and countless envious eyes of countless men. At the gate of the club, a young man in a suit was standing there, flirting with several scantily dressed women. His eyes lingered greedily on the exposed cleavage of the women's breasts and the long legs under the hem of their skirts. Suddenly, he saw Qin Haodong and Lin Momo coming from afar. He suddenly looked cold and murmured, Gigolo, how dare you come to my place? The young man was Wang Daji, who had almost licked Qi Wan-er in the dogfighting ring a few days ago. He hated Qin Haodong to the bone, especially when he saw Qin Haodong walking with Lin Momo. Nalan Wushuang, Nalan Wuxia, Qi Wan-er and Lin Momo today. All the goddess-like beauties he had seen had an inexplicable relationship with Qin Haodong. Second young master, what are you looking at? The women next to him asked. You guys go in first, I have something to do. Wang Daji walked into the club. And Lin Momo and Qin Haodong walked to the Daji. And Qin, Lin, And in Qin and Haodong Lin the security guard checked it and returned it respectfully. Then he said to Qin Haodong, "Sir, please show me your invitation." "I don't have an invitation, sir," the security guard said. "I'm sorry, sir. According to the rules, you can't enter the club without an invitation." Lin Momo frowned and said, "Can't you bring a companion with an invitation?" The security guard said, "Miss, that was in the past. Today, everyone has to show an invitation." His tone was very polite, but his eyes were full of contempt and jealousy for Qin Haodong. He despised Qin Haodong for being a gigolo for a woman, and he was jealous that Qin Haodong could be a gigolo for a beautiful and rich woman like Lin Momo. "Forget it, Momo. You go in. I'll wait for you outside." Qin Haodong was not interested in banquets. If he hadn't wanted to accompany Lin Momo, he wouldn't have come at all. Hearing his words, the two security guards were relieved. In fact, there was no rule at all. It was Wang Daji who asked them to stop Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong didn't care, but Lin Momo couldn't do it. At this time, another young man and woman walked in. They only used an invitation, which made Lin Momo even more annoyed. It was obvious that they were targeting her. She glanced at the two security guards coldly and asked in a serious tone, "Let me ask you, who made the rule that we can't bring companions with us today?" The two security guards were speechless for a while. They couldn't say that Wang Daji had asked them to target Qin Haodong. "I did. What's wrong?" Fortunately, Wang Daji didn't want the two pawns to break through the enemy line. He walked directly out from behind the door. "It's you," Lin Momo said angrily. "Wang Daji, what are you doing? Are you targeting me?" "Sister Lin, don't be angry. It has nothing to do with you." Wang Daji seemed to be very familiar with Lin Momo. He glanced at Qin Haodong and said, "I just don't want this bumpkin to go in. Look at his clothes. He doesn't deserve the identity of our club at all." Qin Haodong didn't expect to meet Wang Daji here. A playful smile appeared on his face. He first looked at his clothes, then looked up at Wang Daji and said, "Master Wang, are you sure it's not because I beat you too badly in the military division last time? Or because you almost licked the tip of my shoes in public in the dogfighting ring a few days ago?" The two security guards were shocked. They had thought that Qin Haodong was just a gigolo. They didn't expect him to be such a ruthless character. He even dared to beat their young master. Wang Daji's embarrassment was exposed in public. He blushed with shame and shouted angrily, "Qin Haodong, no matter what you say, this is the Wang family's club. I won't let you in today." Seeing that Wang Daji was targeting Qin Haodong, Lin Momo's face suddenly became cold. She said, "Wang Daji, are you sure you want to do this?" Wang Daji said arrogantly, "Sister Lin, you can go in. I won't stop you, but not this bumpkin." "Well, I won't go either." Lin Momo took Qin Haodong's arm and turned to leave. "Goodbye, Master Wang." Qin Haodong smiled and waved at Wang Daji. He was not interested in this kind of party. It was better to go home to accompany his daughter, and then do something with his mother. Seeing that Lin Momo was about to leave, Wang Daji suddenly became anxious. He thought of the purpose of his father's banquet today. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He quickly stopped Lin Momo and said, "Sister Lin, don't go. I'm not targeting you." Lin Momo said coldly, "Haodong is my boyfriend. If you don't let him in, you're targeting me." Sister Lin, this is our personal grievance. It has nothing to do with you. I don't care so much. Anyway, if you don't let Haodong in today, I won't go." After Lin Momo said that, she took Qin Haodong and walked around Wang Daji. Wang Daji was completely in a dilemma. If he let Qin Haodong enter the club, not only would he not be able to swallow it, but he would also lose face. However, if Lin Momo left, he could not afford the consequences. At this moment, a middle-aged man with extraordinary temperament appeared at the door of the club and said loudly, "Momo, where are you going?" Lin Momo looked back and said to the middle-aged man, "Uncle Wang, I'm here to attend the banquet, but Daji won't let my companion in, so we have to go back." The middle-aged man was Wang Hating, the chairman of Haitian Group, and the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. After hearing Lin Momo's words, Wang Hating glared at Wang Daji and said, "Bastard! I asked you to greet the guests at the door, but you're making trouble here. You even dare to stop Sister Lin. I'll deal with you later." After reprimanding Wang Daji, he said to Lin Momo with a smile, "Momo, you know that Daji has been a bastard since he was a child. Don't lower yourself to his level. Let's go in." Wang Hating was Lin Momo's elder. Naturally, Lin Momo could not refute him. She turned to look at Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong smiled slightly, indicating that he didn't care. It was all up to Lin Momo. Wang Hating saw the close communication between the two of them, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. "Uncle Wang, let's go in." Lin Momo said hello to Wang Hating, then took Qin Haodong's arm, and turned around to walk into the club. "Master Wang, I'm going in." Qin Haodong waved to Wang Daji again with a smile that could make people die of anger. Wang Daji was furious. He had just said that he couldn't let Qin Haodong in today, but in the blink of an eye, Qin Haodong had swaggered into the gate, and he couldn't stop him. Only he could understand this kind of feeling of grievance. Looking at the disappearing figures of the two people, the smile on Wang Hating's face slowly disappeared, replaced by a cold expression. His Haitian group was mainly engaged in the real estate and financial industry. It was not involved in the pharmaceutical industry at all, so he didn't know about the blood revival elixir that had recently shocked the pharmaceutical industry, let alone who Qin Haodong was. He turned to look at Wang Daji and said, "Do you have a grudge against that person?" Wang Daji didn't want to say that he had been punished by Qin Haodong, so he just nodded. Wang Hating asked again, "What does he do?" "He's just a little doctor with no real skills. He deceives women to make a living with his pretty face. Some time ago, he was with two girls from the Nailan family." Wang Daji ate, drank, whored and gambled all day long. He did everything, but did not do proper business. He did not care about the current financial affairs. In his opinion, Qin Haodong was a gigolo who lived off women. "He's just a little doctor. How can he compare with the descendants of our Wang family?" Wang Hating sneered disdainfully and said, "Let's talk about your grudge with that guy later. Today is your brother's important day. Don't lose sight of the big picture because of a small thing. Don't ruin your brother's big event." "I know, father." Although Wang Daji was extremely reluctant, he could only agree reluctantly. Wang Hating was about to leave when he suddenly thought of something. He turned around and said, "You mean that person has an affair with many girls?" Wang Daji said, "Of course, he's just a little boy who lives off women. I've seen 3 of them before Lin Momo." Wang Hating smiled coldly and said, "Get ready. It's best to have photos of him with those girls. They may be useful later." Seemingly aware of Wang Hating's intention, Wang Daji immediately said, "Okay, father. I have them in my hands now." He did collect some photos of Qin Haodong with other women in the past few days. He originally wanted to show them to Nailan Wushuang, but it just happened to be useful today. A large number of social celebrities, business elites, and handsome men and beautiful women had gathered in the club. However, when Qin Haodong and Lin Momo walked in hand, the others were suddenly overshadowed. Lin Momo had the title of the first beauty in the south of the Yangtze River. She had participated in countless commercial activities, but she had never had a male companion. Today, she walked in with a man so intimately. Qin Haodong immediately attracted the envious and hateful eyes of countless men. If eyes could kill, he would definitely die 10,000 times. Chapter 312. It's nothing. He's just a gigolo who lives off a woman. A sour voice came over. Lin Momo's face darkened. She was about to lose her temper, but Qin Haodong stopped her. "Ignore them. What's wrong with living off a woman? I like to live off you. Being able to live off Miss Lin is also a skill." Qin Haodong laughed. He was not interested in dealing with these boring people. He took Lin Momo to a corner and sat down. He asked, "Does the Jiangnan Club belong to the Wang family?" Lin Momo said, "Yes, it belongs to the Wang family. Wang Hating is the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, so the Chamber of Commerce usually chooses this place for all activities." "Are you familiar with the Wang family?" Lin Momo said. "The Lin family and the Wang family are in the same Chamber of Commerce and have some economic dealings. Naturally, we are familiar with each other. Another important reason is that Wang Hating's eldest son, Wang Deshang, was my college classmate, so I am more familiar with him than others." Qin Haodong nodded and asked, "How many sons does Wang Hating have?" "2 sons. Wang Daji is the youngest son. He has been naughty since he was a child. When he grew up, he relied on the power of the Wang family to eat, drink and gamble. He is a real playboy. The eldest son, Wang Deshang, is the opposite of him. He has been excellent since he was a child. When he was in college, he not only ranked among the best in the whole school, but also was the president of the student union. In addition, he is tall, handsome, and good at communication. He is the idol of thousands of girls. There are rows of girls chasing after him. Is he that awesome?" Qin Haodong laughed and said, "Have you ever pursued him?" Lin Momo glared at him and said, "Of course not." "Why? Didn't you say he was excellent?" Qin Haodong was also a little curious. "Wang Deshang is indeed excellent, but I don't know why I always feel that he is too scheming, so I have always maintained a relationship with him as an ordinary classmate." Speaking of this, Lin Momo suddenly sighed. "Do you know Xiao Xiao?" Qin Haodong said, "The general manager of Dreamy Jiangnan? Of course I know her." Lin Momo said, "Do you know why Xiao Xiao hasn't found a boyfriend for so many years?" Qin Haodong said, "Does it have anything to do with Wang Deshang?" "It's not a relationship. She has been waiting for Wang Deshang." Lin Momo took the red wine from the waiter, took a sip, and said with a reminiscing expression, "Xiao Xiao was one of Wang Deshang's many pursuers. I tried to persuade her, but she didn't listen and fell in love with Wang Deshang." "What happened next? The two of them are together?" Lin Momo nodded and said, "Wang Deshang chose Xiao Xiao. They fell in love for 4 years in college. From their appearance, they are a good match. Many people call them a golden boy and a jade girl." She paused here, but Qin Haodong did not urge her. He tasted the red wine and waited for her to continue. Lin Momo suddenly changed the topic. She lowered her voice and said, "Wang Hating's Haitian group wasn't that big. It was just an ordinary construction company. Xiao Xiao's father was an official with real power in Jiangnan City. After Wang Deshang and Xiao Xiao fell in love, the Wangs got in touch with Xiao Xiao's father. They got the land that other people couldn't get, and they got loans that other people couldn't get. This made Haitian group rise at a rocket-like speed. It can be said that Xiao Xiao's father gave the Wangs a great opportunity and created today's Haitian group. Because of this, Wang Hating was among the top 10 richest people in Jiangnan City." Hearing this, Qin Haodong seemed to feel something and asked, "What happened then? Wang Deshang is not using Xiao Xiao, is he?" Lin Momo said, "You guessed it. Xiao Xiao's father had an accident and died in a car accident. Xiao Xiao had just graduated from college at that time." Qin Haodong asked, "Then Wang Deshang abandoned Xiao Xiao?" "Everyone thinks so, but Xiao Xiao doesn't think so." Lin Momo said, "After Xiao Xiao's family had an accident, Wang Deshang didn't give her much comfort. On the contrary, he went to study in M country alone. In my opinion, he killed the donkey after it was no longer of use. He abandoned Xiao Xiao as soon as she lost her value. Otherwise, with the financial resources of the Wangs at that time, it would have been easy to take Xiao Xiao to M country. However, Xiao Xiao didn't think so. Wang Deshang told her that he would come back, so she waited like a fool. In the blink of an eye, Wang Deshang has been in M country for 5 years. She has been waiting for 5 years. During these 5 years, countless men have pursued her, but Xiao Xiao has rejected them all. I have advised her many times that Wang Deshang is lying to her, but she doesn't believe me." Qin Haodong sighed secretly. She was really an infatuated woman and an unfaithful man. How many years could a woman wait in her life? He didn't expect that Che Xiaoxiao, who looked beautiful and open, was such an infatuated person. While they were talking, Wang Hating came over with a glass of wine. Momo, I heard that you are now the president of 2 big groups. Why are you sitting in this corner with an ordinary person? You should communicate more with everyone. Leaders of big groups like us should communicate more with each other. Only by sharing resources can we benefit each other. These words seemed to be the concern of an elder to a younger generation. But in fact, he was secretly mocking Qin Haodong for being an ordinary person and asking Lin Momo to keep a distance from him. He didn't know that Qin Haodong was the famous medical sage, nor did he know that Qin Haodong was the developer of the blood revival elixir and the big boss behind Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. He completely believed what Wang Daji had said, and thought that Qin Haodong was just a man who relied on his face to make a living. Lin Momo had been in the business world for a long time. How could she not understand the meaning of Wang Hating's words? Her face couldn't help but turn cold. She said, Uncle Wang, I like quiet. It's good here. It's my boyfriend's first time here. I'm afraid he'll be bored alone, so I'll accompany him. Her words were soft and hard. She directly pointed out that Qin Haodong was her boyfriend, and that he held an important position in her heart. Wang Hating's face changed slightly, but he was very shrewd. He quickly regained his smile and said, Momo, in fact, you don't need to be so anxious to find a boyfriend. Men and women should be equal in ability and identity. Now that Desheng is back, you should be more intimate. Qin Haodong immediately understood. No wonder Wang Hating attached so much importance to Lin Momo. It turned out that he was thinking about Lin Momo for his son. Lin Momo didn't care about this. All her attention was attracted by Wang Desheng's return. She asked in surprise, Uncle Wang, is Desheng really back? The reason why she was so excited was that she was happy for her good sister. However, Wang Hating didn't know so much. He thought that Lin Momo was also one of his son's pursuers. So he immediately said proudly, Yes, Desheng is back. You'll see him later. He looked at Qin Haodong again and asked, Young man, what do you do? I'm a doctor, a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. A traditional Chinese medicine practitioner? Wang Hating's mouth was full of disdain. How could a little doctor compare with his son? He said, The prospects of traditional Chinese medicine were not good, but now there are changes. Desheng came back from M country to strengthen the traditional Chinese medicine industry. I'll talk to him later. For Momo's sake, I'll ask him to arrange a position for you. Qin Haodong stopped Lin Momo, who was about to speak, with a smile on his face and said, Then I'll have to trouble you, Boss Wang. If one looked carefully, they would find that his smile was full of disdain. This old man wanted to poach Qin Haodong. His relationship with Lin Momo was definitely stronger than reinforced concrete. It could be said that their love was stronger than gold. How could he poach Qin Haodong? Qin Haodong's performance made Wang Hating completely lose interest in him. Such a young man didn't deserve to be his son's opponent. He turned to Lin Momo and said, Momo, take a rest here first. Desheng is dealing with something. He'll be here soon. Then he walked to another group of guests with a glass of wine. Lin Momo glared at his back angrily. She turned to Qin Haodong and said, He belittled you like this. Aren't you angry? Why should I be angry? Qin Haodong said with a smile. If a 2-year-old child punched you, would you be angry? A player at his level doesn't deserve my anger at all. But I can't bear to see others look down on you. Although Qin Haodong's words made sense, Lin Momo was still angry. Qin Haodong said with a smile, You should be happy that I'm looked down on. If everyone thinks I'm good and competes to marry their daughter to me, how many rivals will you have? Lin Momo glared at him and said, Are there still few now? While the two of them were flirting, Gao Fengwen and Shen Xiangfu were sitting in the VIP room next door. There were more than a dozen people with them. In addition to the heads of the 5 major clinics in Jiangnan City, The rest were also famous old Chinese medicine doctors. Opposite them stood a young man in his 20s, wearing a light yellow casual shirt and a pair of light white jeans. Although his clothes looked a little ordinary, they could not hide his handsomeness. His cheeks were thin and angular, his nose was straight, and his eyes were deep. Obviously he was a pure Asian, but he brought people a kind of Western gentleman's beauty. He always had a faint smile on his face. This smile made people feel that it was especially friendly, and at the same time, it gave people a feeling of calmness and magnanimity. At this time, he was facing a group of old men. If there were any women, they would have already rushed up to him. This was a man that all young girls in their teens and young women in their 30s and 40s liked. The young man said, "Seniors, let me introduce myself. My name is Wang Desheng, and my father is Wang Hating of Haitian Group." "Young Master Wang, you've invited us old men here. What's the matter?" The speaker was an old man in a long robe. He was the head of Jiangnan Xuanhu House, Fu Hailong. "Of course I have something to do, otherwise I wouldn't dare to waste your time." Wang Desheng had a smile on his face as he spoke, giving people a feeling of spring breeze. "Seniors, I studied in M country for 5 years. This time I came back for only one purpose, which is to develop the traditional Chinese medicine industry. You are all leaders in the traditional Chinese medicine industry, so I naturally can't do without your help. It's a good thing to develop the traditional Chinese medicine industry. I don't know what you want us to do, young Master Wang?" This time it was Lu Baikuan, the head of Jishir Hall, who spoke. Wang Desheng said, "I want to set up a Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame, to integrate the outstanding traditional Chinese medicine doctors in Jiangnan City, and promote the development of traditional Chinese medicine together. I hope you can support me." Gao Fengwen asked, "What kind of organization is the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame? What can it do for traditional Chinese medicine?" Wang Desheng said, "The Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame was established to develop traditional Chinese medicine. We can promote traditional Chinese medicine by means of famous doctors, lectures and lectures. We can develop Chinese patent medicines and health products, and even beauty products with traditional Chinese medicine attributes. We can promote traditional Chinese medicine to society in a comprehensive way." Chapter 313. He paused for a moment, as if he was giving everyone time to digest his words. After a while he said, "The reason why traditional Chinese medicine is declining is that everyone has their own way and can't form a system. However, the Huaxia Traditional Chinese Medicine Hall will change this situation dramatically. What we need to do is to integrate traditional Chinese medicine, systematize it, and form a complete industrial chain of traditional Chinese medicine. Then we can promote traditional Chinese medicine and make a lot of money." Gao Fengwen and the others nodded. Although Wang Desheng's words were a bit general, they sounded similar to Qin Haodong's idea. However, there was a little less flavor. Everything Qin Haodong did was aimed at developing traditional Chinese medicine, while what Wang Desheng said sounded like he was trying to make money. Wang Desheng's eyes swept over the audience and said, "What do you think? Seniors, are you interested in joining my Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame?" "I'm willing. Master Wang is doing a great thing for traditional Chinese medicine. I, Zhang Tianhe, will be the first to stand up and support it." It was Zhang Tianhe, the medical expert who had been taught a lesson by Qin Haodong in Jiangnan Hospital. No one knew if he really saw a business opportunity in Wang Desheng's words, or if it was for some other reason. But he was the first to stand up and express his support. "I also agree." Fu Hailong was the second to express his support. "Count this old man," and then Lu Baikuan followed closely behind. Then a few more people expressed their support. However, this situation immediately stopped when it came to Gao Fengwen. Shen Xiangfu and Zhong Sihai looked at each other, and felt that since there was already a Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, there was no need to join the Hall of Medical Fame. Even if they had such an idea, they had to discuss it with Qin Haodong first, so they didn't say anything. Since the three of them didn't say anything, the other members of the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association naturally didn't say anything. Wang Desheng was slightly surprised to see that less than half of the Chinese medicine practitioners were willing to join the Hall of Medical Fame. In his impression, traditional Chinese medicine was not doing well. As long as someone took the lead, others would respond. He hadn't expected this result. Although he was a little surprised and dissatisfied, he didn't show it. He still said with a smile, "There is no need to rush. Everyone should think about it. Let's go to the banquet first. It won't be too late to tell me when you have made up your mind." It had to be said that Wang Desheng's way of handling things was much better than Wang Daji's. His light words not only left room for maneuver, but also eased the current embarrassment. After saying that, he took the lead and walked out of the room. The old Chinese medicine doctors followed behind him and went to the banquet hall together. When Gao Fengwen and the others arrived at the banquet, they immediately became a strange sight. Generally, the men who attended the banquet were dressed in suits and leather shoes, and the women were dressed in extremely revealing evening gowns. But these old men, except for Zhang Tianhe, who was wearing a suit, the others were all dressed in long robes, which looked particularly unusual. Similarly, these old men were not used to seeing the white skin of the ladies, so their eyes were limited to their feet, and did not see Qin Haodong sitting in the corner. Wang Desheng had already made arrangements beforehand. He asked the waiter to guide these old doctors of Chinese medicine to sit in the front row. And then the banquet officially began. Wang Haiding, the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, was the first to walk to the front stage. He nodded to the crowd and said, "Welcome to my reception. Thank you for giving me face." After a burst of applause, he continued, "I have only one purpose for holding today's banquet, and that is to hand over my position. To be honest, I'm getting old these years, and I'm not able to control the Haitian group. Fortunately, my eldest son, Desheng, returned to Huaxia from M country a few days ago, so I can finally rest. From now on, Wang Desheng officially serves as the president of the Haitian group. At the same time, he will replace me as the host of today's banquet. Now let my son come up to meet you." The crowd was quite surprised. They had thought that this was just an ordinary business banquet. They had not expected that Wang Haiding would hand over the position of president. Wang Desheng stepped to the front stage with a charming smile on his face. As soon as he appeared, there was a warm applause, and many women screamed, "He's so handsome! Master Wang is so handsome! I wonder if he has a girlfriend." Not bad. It seems that Wang Haiding has a good son, a talented man. There was a burst of praise from the audience. Both men and women were impressed by Wang Desheng's demeanor. Only Lin Momo's face slowly darkened. She had been looking for Che Xiaoxiao for a long time, but she had not seen her good sister at the banquet. She probably did not know that Wang Desheng had returned to Huaxia. Che Xiaoxiao had waited for him for 5 years, but he had not even said hello after returning to Huaxia. What did he mean? On the stage, Wang Haiding looked at his son, his eyes full of pride. He put one hand on Wang Desheng's shoulder and said to the audience, "The proudest thing in my life is not the founding of the Haitian group, but having a good son. Desheng has been very outstanding since he was a child. This time, he has made great achievements in M country and obtained a double bachelor's degree. From today on, I will take over the Haitian group. I hope you can take care of me. Well, I won't say more." From now on, this stage belongs to young people, to my son. After that, he cupped his hands to the audience, handed the microphone to Wang Desheng, and directly retreated. Wang Desheng stood in Wang Haiding's position and showed a charming smile to the audience. "Hello friends, elders, I'm Wang Desheng. From today on, I will take over my father's position as president. I hope you can help me." The audience applauded, and everyone expressed their goodwill to the young president. Wang Desheng's eyes swept the audience. When he saw Lin Momo, his eyes lit up. After the applause faded, he said, "Everyone, I want to take the opportunity of today's banquet to announce 3 things. First, after I become president, Haitian Group's business focus will be on the pharmaceutical industry." As soon as he finished speaking, there was a cry of surprise from the audience. Haitian Group had been mainly engaged in the real estate and financial industry before. It had never been involved in the pharmaceutical industry. How could it suddenly change its focus? This left many people scratching their heads. Wang Desheng smiled and said, "You may be surprised by my decision. Some people even think I'm crazy. In fact, my decision is completely the result of careful consideration. Now the real estate industry has reached its peak, and the financial industry is also in a saturated state with great risks. Only the medical industry is in the ascendant. With the improvement of people's living standards, people's demand for medicine and health is growing. Therefore, I think the pharmaceutical industry has great potential, especially the traditional Chinese medicine industry. The first thing I will do as president is to establish the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame and make the traditional Chinese medicine industry stronger and bigger. Now I'm ready. Today, I specially invited many seniors of the traditional Chinese medicine industry in Jiangnan to today's banquet." Wang Desheng's speech shocked people more and more. It was already beyond many people's expectations that he would enter the pharmaceutical industry. They didn't expect that he would enter the traditional Chinese medicine industry. Everyone knew the situation of traditional Chinese medicine in Huaxia. Wang Desheng wanted to make traditional Chinese medicine stronger and bigger. Could this work? Many people were skeptical of his decision. As if he knew what everyone was thinking, Wang Desheng said, "The traditional Chinese medicine industry has a broad prospect. It's definitely a big gold mine, but it hasn't been paid attention to and fully developed yet. Don't doubt this. Some time ago, my old classmate and my goddess, President Lin Momo, set a good example for us. She took the lead in establishing Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company and did a very successful job. I've already heard the reputation of the blood revival elixir in M country. I want to learn from my goddess on this point." As he spoke, he raised his hand and pointed to Lin Momo. Everyone's eyes followed him and focused on Lin Momo. In the eyes of others, Lin Momo should have responded to Wang Desheng's kindness. However, because of Che Xiaoxiao, Lin Momo did not have any good impression of Wang Desheng. Not only did she not respond, but she turned her face to Qin Haodong and did not even look at him. Wang Desheng had originally wanted to say hello to Lin Momo in this special way, but he hadn't expected this result, which made him feel a little embarrassed. Fortunately, he was really shrewd. The embarrassment only flashed in a flash. Soon he said with a smile, "Now let's talk about the second thing, which is also a great thing for Haitian Group. When I was in M country, I met Mr. Maldini Jr. of Midas Investment Company. I explained to him that I was going to vigorously develop traditional Chinese medicine. He was also very optimistic about traditional Chinese medicine and agreed with me very much. He even had the intention to invest." At this point, there was an uproar. Everyone was shocked by Wang Desheng's words, not for anything else, but for the reputation of Midas Investment Company, and Maldini Jr. Midas was definitely the world's top investment company. Its head, Maldini Jr. was known as the most insightful investor today. Since his debut, he had never failed. Moreover, behind Maldini Jr. stood a financial giant, Old Maldini. In terms of the depth of funds, few people in the world could surpass this father and son. When Wang Desheng said that he was optimistic about the traditional Chinese medicine industry, many people didn't take it seriously. However, if Maldini Jr. was also optimistic about this industry, it would be completely different. It was definitely worth re-examining, because they all believed that Maldini Jr.'s vision could not be wrong. Moreover, if he could get the investment of Midas, it would be more than half a success. All that was left was the process of moving towards success. Many successful people present were looking forward to cooperating with Midas and getting Maldini Jr.'s investment. It was a pity that no one in Jiangnan City had done this in recent years. If Wang Desheng could succeed, he would definitely be the first. Looking at everyone's performance, Wang Desheng's eyes flashed with pride. Being recognized and appreciated by Maldini Jr. was the proudest thing in his life. After everyone calmed down a little, he continued, "Now I'm going to talk about the third thing today, which I think is the most important thing." Hearing this, everyone's curiosity was aroused again. The news just now was already shocking enough. Was there anything more important than Maldini Jr.'s investment? Everyone's eyes focused on Wang Desheng again, waiting for him to continue. Wang Desheng said, "I've been wandering overseas for 5 years, and I've never had a girlfriend during those 5 years. It's not that I'm not good enough. Over the years, girls from all over the world have confessed to me, but I haven't accepted them, because I've always had someone in my heart. This time, I can't wait anymore when I return to Huaxia. Today, I'm going to confess to the person I love the most. I hope she can accept my love." Chapter 314. No one had expected that the third thing Wang Desheng wanted to say was to confess his feelings. There was a sudden sensation under the stage. It's a miracle that Master Wang hasn't had a girlfriend for so many years. Who is the woman he loves? Oh my God, the woman Brother Desheng is talking about must be me. I'm so happy. It turns out that he has always loved me. Don't be so shameless. You didn't even graduate from primary school 5 years ago. He didn't even know you, okay? There was a lot of discussion under the stage. The infatuated girls all hoped that it was them, and the men were full of curiosity. They didn't know which woman could make the young master of the Wang family fall in love with so much. Lin Momo was surprised and happy for her best friend. She had not waited for Wang Desheng for 5 years in vain. This time, Wang Desheng was finally going to confess his love. She craned her neck and looked around, trying to find Che Xiaoxiao. Qin Haodong said, "Don't look for her. Che Xiaoxiao didn't come at all." "That's impossible. He is going to confess his love. How could Xiaoxiao not come? The person he is going to confess his love to is not Che Xiaoxiao but you," Lin Momo said with a shocked face. "What? Me? That's impossible. Are you kidding me? It's Xiaoxiao who likes him, not me." At this time, someone under the stage shouted impatiently, "Master Wang, who is the girl you like? Is he here today? Can you show him to everyone?" "Yes, which girl is so lucky? Let us know her quickly." There was a charming smile on Wang Desheng's face. He pointed to Lin Momo and said, "She is my goddess, Miss Lin Momo." The audience was in an uproar. Everyone followed his gaze, and once again saw Lin Momo's perfect and peerless face. When they saw that the person Wang Desheng liked was Lin Momo, those infatuated girls were discouraged. Although they all boasted that they were extraordinary, they were far inferior to Lin Momo, whether in terms of family background, appearance or ability. Lin's group belonged to a large consortium in Jiangnan City, which was comparable to Haitian Group in strength. Lin Momo was already the president of 2 large groups in her 20s, which was incomparable to those young ladies who only knew how to do beauty and go shopping. However, some people expressed their disdain. No matter how beautiful and excellent Lin Momo was, she was already the mother of a child. She was not worthy of Wang Desheng. No matter what others thought, Lin Momo was completely shocked. She couldn't understand what Wang Desheng was doing. The astonishment on his face did not fade for a long time. Wang Desheng stepped down from the stage and walked toward Lin Momo. With an extremely affectionate expression, he said, "Momo, please forgive me for my hasty confession. In fact, I came back from M country for 2 purposes. One is to make Haitian Group stronger and bigger, and the other is to be with you." After saying that, he waved his hand. and the waiter next to him immediately came over with a tray. The tray was covered with a red cloth, so no one knew what was on it. Under everyone's gaze, Wang Desheng uncovered the red cloth on the tray, and there was a rose underneath. Wang Desheng picked up the rose and gave it to Lin Momo. He said in a deep voice, "Momo, this is the rose I carefully prepared for you. Do you like it?" At this time, everyone found that this rose was different. The golden petals were made of pure gold, and the green branches and leaves below were of extremely high-quality jade. The most eye-catching thing was that the petals of the rose were inlaid with 99 diamonds the size of rice grains. "Oh my God, this is a diamond rose. How much are so many diamonds worth?" The people under the stage, both men and women, were shocked by the value of this rose. The women looked at Lin Momo with envy and hatred. If only this rose had been given to them. What do you know? The key is his feelings. From this rose, it can be seen how deep young Master Wang's feelings for Miss Lin are. Do you think Miss Lin will agree? That goes without saying. No woman can resist such a unique rose. In many people's eyes, Lin Momo's heart would eventually be captured by Wang Desheng. Some busybodies had already clapped their hands and shouted, "Together! Together!" Unexpectedly, a shocking scene appeared. Lin Momo, who had recovered from the shock, did not take the rose. Instead, she slapped Wang Desheng in the face. This time, everyone was dumbfounded. Those who were just shouting together opened their mouths wide, but not a single sound came out. No one understood why the plot was like this. In general, when this happened in a TV series, the heroine should be moved to tears, and then suddenly throw herself into the hero's arms, and start a good life from then on. Why did Miss Lin hit him so fiercely? After slapping Wang Desheng, Lin Momo was still angry. She pointed at Wang Desheng's nose and said angrily, "Wang Desheng, what are you doing? Do you feel sorry for Xiao Xiao? Do you know how much she has done for you? Do you know that she has been waiting for you for the past 5 years?" She was really angry. Che Xiaoxiao had done so much for Wang Desheng and the Wang family. She had not expected that Wang Desheng would abandon Che Xiaoxiao publicly and turn around to pursue her. She could not accept this in any way. There were 5 bright red fingerprints on Wang Desheng's handsome cheek, but he did not seem angry. He handed the rose in his hand to the waiter next to him, touched his red and swollen cheek, and then said with a wry smile, "Momo, I know I'm sorry for Xiao Xiao, but love can't be forced. I have always liked you since I was in college, but I didn't see my feelings clearly. During the 5 years in M country, I finally saw through my heart and knew who I liked. There is only friendship between me and Xiao Xiao, not love." "The only person I love is you. Give me a chance. I really love you. I love you deeply. I will make it up to Xiao Xiao." Wang Desheng's confession was extremely touching. If it had been an ordinary girl, she might have been moved. However, Lin Momo's heart had long been filled with Qin Haodong. She did not care what Wang Desheng said at all. She only cared about Che Xiaoxiao's feelings. She said angrily, "Make it up to her? Xiao Xiao has been waiting for you for 5 years. As a girl, she has given you the best time of her life. What will you do to make it up to her? I tell you, Wang Desheng, apologize to Xiao Xiao and confess your love to her, or I will not spare you." Wang Desheng did not seem to be reconciled. He continued, "Momo, I will make it clear to Xiao Xiao, but the person I love is really you. Momo, let me do it." Seeing that Lin Momo was about to lose her temper again, Qin Haodong reached out and pulled her behind him. He said to Wang Desheng, "Master Wang, you are pursuing my girlfriend in such a high-profile way. Have you ever thought about my feelings?" After saying this, many people noticed Qin Haodong's existence. Although he had been with Lin Momo before, in some people's eyes, he was just a bodyguard or a follower. No one had thought that this plainly dressed young man would be Lin Momo's boyfriend. Wang Desheng said, "I don't care who you are. You can't stop me from pursuing Momo. As long as Momo is not married, I have the right to pursue her. Besides, you are just Momo's boyfriend. You are today, but not necessarily tomorrow. Maybe I will be the one accompanying Momo." The guests of the banquet watched the scene in front of them with great interest. They had not expected that the scene of fighting for a girlfriend, which they often saw in movies and TV plays, would be staged in front of them. However, no one was optimistic about Qin Haodong. Although this young man was not inferior to Wang Desheng in appearance, he was just an ordinary person. How could he compare with the heir of Haitian group? They believed that after Lin Momo's impulse, she would eventually choose Wang Desheng. As if to confirm this idea, Lin Momo said to Wang Desheng, "You're wrong. Haodong is not my boyfriend." Hearing this, many people's faces showed a look of relief. The plot had changed so fast that Lin Momo had changed her mind in just a few minutes. However, in everyone's opinion, Wang Desheng was also her best choice. Wang Desheng also smiled. For so many years, no woman had been able to escape from his palm, and Lin Momo was no exception. However, at this moment, Lin Momo said solemnly, "Qin Haodong is not my boyfriend. He is my man, the only man in my life." Her words were sonorous and powerful. This was a declaration of love, which blocked all of Wang Desheng's hopes. However, it also meant that she and Lin's group were completely standing on the opposite side of the Wang family. Sure enough, Wang Hating was unhappy. It was not suitable for him to participate in his son's confession of love to Lin Momo. He had been watching quietly, but now he had to stand up and speak. "Momo, as an elder, I advise you. As the saying goes, men are afraid of choosing the wrong career, and women are afraid of marrying the wrong man. Finding a man is the most important thing in a woman's life. Don't be emotional, or it will be too late to regret later." The first half of his words seemed to be exhortation, but the second half had become a naked threat. Lin Momo's face darkened, and she said coldly, "Uncle Wang, choosing a man is my own business. I will only choose one man in my life, and I will never regret it." Seeing that Lin Momo was not threatened by him at all, Wang Hating immediately changed his tone and said, "Momo, we have always paid attention to the marriage between two families. Even if you don't choose Desheng, you have to find a man who matches you. How can this gigolo be worthy of you? You are the president, and he is just a little doctor. You are the only heir of Lin's group, and he is just a poor boy. How can he compare with our Desheng?" Lin Momo stepped forward, held Qin Haodong's hand and said, "The best choice I've made in my life is to choose Haodong. He's the best man in the world. If we're not a good match, it's me who doesn't deserve him." Everyone was shocked. In their opinion, Qin Haodong was just a toy boy who lived off a woman. They had not expected Lin Momo to speak so highly of him. Lin Momo continued to say, "Although Haodong is not a rich second generation, he is a pioneer. Although he is only a Chinese medicine practitioner, he has developed the blood revival elixir that can completely cure leukemia. Because of this, he can immediately enter the list of billionaires if he wants to. All of this depends on his personal efforts. He doesn't rely on his family or his parents. This kind of man is the best man I admire the most. He is not someone who inherits the family business and goes abroad to get gold." Lin Momo could not stand the Wang family's contempt for Qin Haodong. They directly compared him with Wang Desheng, which was a slap in the face. One relied on his family, while the other relied on himself. One was a rich second generation, while the other was a pioneer. It was clear who was superior. Chapter 315. Wang Hating's face was livid. He hadn't expected that Lin Momo wouldn't show any respect to the Wang family. In contrast, Wang Desheng was much calmer. He said, "Momo, I know he developed the blood revival elixir, but maybe he just happened to encounter a prescription that could cure leukemia. It's just luck. It doesn't prove that he's better than me. Although I was born in the Wang family, and I'm a rich second generation in other people's eyes, I worked hard in M country on my own. For example, I won Maldini Jr.'s favor this time, and made him consider investing in Huaxia. It's all because of my personal charm. It has nothing to do with my family." His speech was methodical and skillful. First, He silently denied Qin Haodong's achievements. And then he showed the greatest achievement of his life. How could an ordinary person win Maldini Jr.'s favor? After he said that, there was a warm applause on the scene. Many direct descendants of the Wang family cheered. It was definitely a proud thing to be able to establish a relationship with Maldini Jr., Wang Desheng smiled proudly. He believed that his achievement would make Lin Momo look up to him. However, Lin Momo didn't even look at him. She said lightly, "Don't think that only your success depends on your ability. Other success depends on luck." Haodong developed the blood revival elixir because of his superb medical skills. Is your title of medical sage undeserved? Really? Wang Desheng said disdainfully. I think a person who dares to call himself medical sage at such a young age is absolutely arrogant. I'm afraid he's undeserved. As soon as he finished speaking, someone said angrily, the title of medical sage is earned by his medical skills. I, Gao Fengwen, will be the first to disagree with anyone who dares to say that medical sage is undeserved. As he spoke, Gao Fengwen walked into the crowd with the people of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. He had admired Qin Haodong's medical skills and character. Now that someone dared to question Qin Haodong, he immediately stood up to refute. Mr. Wang, from what you just said, I found that you don't understand and respect Chinese medicine at all. I, Gao Fengwen, can give you an answer now. I refuse to join the so-called Hall of Medical Fame. And me, I, Shen Xiangfu, also refuse to join the Hall of Medical Fame. I, Zhong Sihai, refused to join the Hall of Medical Fame. For a time there was a lot of shouting. The people of the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association expressed their positions and unanimously refused the invitation to join the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. Although Wang Desheng looked calm, he was very shocked. He didn't expect Qin Haodong to have such a great appeal in the traditional Chinese medicine circle. His simple words could cause such a great response. Seeing that the Wang family's face had been trampled on one after another, Wang Daji could no longer control his temper and shouted, "You bad old men, who gave you the courage to shout in our Wang family? Without you, we can still set up the Hall of Medical Fame. Get out of here now. Guards, get them out of the clubhouse." Hearing his shout, more than a dozen security guards immediately rushed over to drive Gao Fengwen and the others out of the club. Wang Desheng could only sigh secretly when he saw his idiot younger brother driving him away. Without Gao Fengwen and other well-known traditional Chinese medicine doctors, could the Hall of Medical Fame still be called the Hall of Medical Fame? At the very least, its quality was much dimmer. However, there was no turning back now. For the sake of the Wang family's face, he could only let Wang Daji do what he wanted. Lin Momo glared at the father and son of the Wang family, took Qin Haodong's hand and said, "Since this is the Wang family's world, let's go." The Wang family's face was lost again and again. Wang Haiding could no longer control his anger and shouted angrily, "Lin Momo, think about it. You are a member of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. If you dare to step out of the club, I will remove Lin's group from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce." Lin Momo stopped, looked back at him and said, "Wang Haiding, are you threatening me?" "So what if I am threatening you?" Wang Haiding said without showing weakness. "Well, you don't have to be removed. I officially announced that Lin's group will withdraw from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. As long as the Wang family exists, it will not come back." Looking at Lin Momo's determined expression, Wang Desheng could only sigh again. Originally, there was still some room for negotiation, but now it was completely deadlocked because of his father and brother. Wang Haiding shouted, "Lin Momo, this is what you said. If I leave the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, Lin's group will no longer enjoy all the resources of the Chamber of Commerce. You can't ask me to come back then." Lin Momo sneered and said, "Do people like you have the resources of the Chamber of Commerce? I don't care." Qin Haodong stood next to her. He didn't care about the low-level flirting like the father and son of the Wang family at all. However, Lin Momo's reaction moved him deeply. As the president of the group, it was impossible for her not to care about the resources of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. However, she had made a prompt decision to leave the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, which showed how important he was in her heart. Lin Momo's reaction was also beyond many people's expectations, but Wang Daji was very happy to see it. In the past, he had been defeated by Qin Haodong, and now he finally had a chance to take revenge. Come on, throw these ignorant people out of the club. He knew Qin Haodong's temper very well. As long as the security guards drove them out, they would definitely fight. Although Qin Haodong was good at fighting, the security guards of the Jiangnan Club were elites hired by the Wang family with a high salary. There were nearly 100 of them. No matter how good this toy boy was, he could only beat 10 or 20 people. But could he beat 100 people? That was impossible. He had the idea of fishing in troubled waters. As long as Qin Haodong resisted a little, he would immediately let the security guards kill him. Anyway, if anything happened, the Wang family would be the behemoth. After the security guards received the order, dozens of people immediately surrounded Qin Haodong and the old Chinese medicine practitioners. Seeing all this, Wang Haiding did not say anything to stop them. He stood aside and watched coldly. He wanted to let others see that no matter who offended the Wang family, they had to pay the price. Otherwise, how could he establish his prestige as the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce in the future? Qin Haodong sneered. The father and son of the Wang family were really taking advantage of him. If he didn't get angry, did they think he was a sick cat? Just as he was about to explode, suddenly another security guard ran over and whispered something in the ears of Wang Haiding and Wang Deshang. Wang Haiding's expression changed, and he said with a happy face, "Stop it. The distinguished guest will be here soon. Come with me to welcome him." Then, he seemed to be unable to control his inner excitement. He said to the guests next to him, "I have good news. Mr. Maldini Jr., the president of Midas Investment Company, has arrived at the Jiangnan Club. Now I'm going to welcome him. I hope you can join me and let Mr. Maldini Jr. feel the friendliness and enthusiasm of the Celestial Empire." Hearing this news, everyone was excited. Wang Deshang had mentioned Maldini Jr. several times tonight. Some people even thought he was using Maldini Jr. to make himself look good. Who knew that Maldini Jr. did have such connections? Now the financial tycoon, who could catch a cold with a sneeze, had come in person. Now it seemed that Wang Deshang hadn't lied. Maldini Jr. did intend to invest in Haitian Group. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come all the way to the Celestial Empire. This made people think more highly of the young master of the Wang family. Although he was a rich second generation, he had won Maldini Jr.'s appreciation with his real ability. Otherwise, the assets of Haitian Group were nothing in Maldini Jr.'s eyes. The happiest person was Wang Deshang. He had invited Maldini Jr. first tonight, but Maldini had refused. Although his agent had said later that Maldini Jr. might come to the Jiangnan Club, he hadn't dared to announce the news because of the uncertainty. Now that Maldini Jr. had come in person, it meant that Wang Deshang had reached the peak of his life. Everyone rushed to the door, but as soon as they arrived at the door of the hall, a group of tall bodyguards came in from outside. These bodyguards were all tall, with an average height of more than 1.9 meters. There were black people and white people. They looked murderous and extraordinary. After entering the door, the bodyguards divided into two teams and made way for a white man in a suit and leather shoes to walk into the hall. This man was about 1.85 meters tall and looked like a typical European gentleman. There was a vague shadow of old Maldini in his eyes. Needless to say, this was Maldini Jr. It was the first time for the people present to see the legendary god of fortune. They were all very excited and wanted to leave a good impression in front of Maldini Jr. If the Midas Gold's company invested some money in them, they would soar to the sky and become rich. As the owner of the club and the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, Wang Haiding was naturally the first in line. He walked in front of everyone with a smile on his face. He came to Maldini Jr. and bowed deeply. "Dear Mr. Maldini, welcome to the Celestial Empire. I'm Wang Haiding from Haitian Group." Before he could finish, he found that Maldini Jr. did not stop walking. Maldini Jr. ignored him, who was still bowing, and walked straight into the hall. He looked around as he walked, as if he was looking for someone. Wang Hating stood up awkwardly, but then he felt relieved. Maldini Jr. was a world-famous financial magnate, so it was normal for him to ignore him. It seemed that Maldini Jr. only appreciated his son, Wang Desheng. He was here for his son. However, they were all members of the Wang family. As long as Maldini Jr. nodded, the Wang family would be greatly promoted and stand on the top of the entire Jiangnan province, and even the Celestial Empire. Everyone else thought so, including Wang Desheng. Seeing Maldini Jr. looking around for him, Wang Desheng felt very proud. He straightened his collar, straightened his back, and stepped forward to greet Maldini Jr. "Dear Mr. Maldini Jr., welcome to the Celestial Empire." Wang Desheng bowed deeply to Maldini Jr. as he spoke. Then a surprising scene appeared. Young Mancini didn't stop and kept walking inside, not even glancing at Wang Desheng. What was going on? Everyone present was stunned, including the father and son of the Wang family. It was understandable that Maldini Jr. ignored Wang Hating, but why did he ignore Wang Desheng? Did he know someone else in the Jiangnan club? Wang Desheng stood up with a puzzled expression. He did not understand what Maldini Jr. was going to do. Isn't he here for me? Doesn't he appreciate my talent? Didn't he see me just now? When he was about to catch up with him, he saw Maldini Jr.'s eyes suddenly light up. His face was full of joy as he quickly walked into the hall. The bodyguards on both sides followed him closely. After pushing away the security guards surrounding Qin Haodong and the others, Maldini Jr. went straight to Qin Haodong, bowed deeply, and said respectfully, "Dear medical sage, I finally meet you." Chapter 316. After seeing this, the people who had been following Maldini Jr. were instantly frozen. They all stood there in a daze, unable to believe what they were seeing. Maldini Jr. was bowing to a young Huaxia man. What was going on? Ah! A scream suddenly rang out in the hall. It turned out that in order to verify whether she was dreaming or not, a woman put her male companion's finger in her mouth and bit it hard. When she heard her male companion's heart-wrenching scream, she confirmed that everything was real. After recognizing the facts in front of them, the way people looked at the Wang father and son changed again. Just now, the father and son had chased after Maldini Jr. and bowed, but Maldini Jr. had ignored them. Instead, he had turned around and bowed to Qin Haodong. They were all from Huaxia, but why was there such a big gap between them? What was this? This was a slap in the face. Moreover, hadn't Wang Desheng said that Maldini Jr. appreciated him very much? Hadn't he said that he had come to Huaxia to invest in him? Why hadn't he looked at him at all? What was going on? For a moment, many people questioned what Wang Desheng had just said. Judging from Maldini Jr.'s current behavior, it didn't look like he was going to invest in him at all. Qin Haodong nodded to Maldini Jr. and said, "Mr. Maldini Jr., welcome to Huaxia. Dear medical sage, you are my idol. The blood revival elixir you developed is really amazing, beyond my imagination. How about I invest in your Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company? I can invest 10 billion yuan, no, 20 billion yuan to help your company build factories in Europe and the United States and sell products all over the world. You only need to give me 20% of the shares." After Maldini Jr. finished speaking, people who had just closed their mouths opened again in surprise. An investment of 20 billion yuan in exchange for 20% of the shares meant that the market value of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was at least 100 billion yuan. What kind of concept was that? Wang Hating was known as one of the top 10 richest men in the south of the Yangtze River, but his assets were no more than 10 billion yuan. All the assets of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce added up were just over 100 billion yuan. No wonder Lin Momo was so confident and didn't need the resources of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. At this time, the way they looked at Qin Haodong had completely changed. Just now, they thought that he was just a gigolo, but now they knew that although he had the capital to rely on his face, he had to rely on his ability to make a living. He was a real billionaire. In contrast, Wang Desheng's halo quickly dimmed. In the eyes of those rich ladies, he was not so outstanding. Seeing that the god of fortune he had invited was going to invest in Qin Haodong, Wang Desheng couldn't stay calm. He hurried forward and said respectfully, "Mr. Maldini Jr., didn't you say that you would invest in our Haitian group? Just now, I established the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame and invited many famous doctors in Jiangnan City to join us. I won't let you down." Maldini Jr. stood up straight, looked back at Wang Desheng and said, "The reason why I'm a little interested in the traditional Chinese medicine industry you mentioned is because of medical sage. The blood revival elixir developed by him is so excellent that I saw the magic of traditional Chinese medicine. That's why I want to inspect your company. I can directly invest in Medical Sage's company, but your project needs to be inspected. I'll do it after careful inspection. Right now, it's just an investment intention." People suddenly realized that Maldini Jr. had agreed to come to Huaxia and inspect Haitian Group's project, not because he appreciated Wang Desheng, but because of Qin Haodong. Well, Wang Desheng was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. He had always thought that Maldini Jr. appreciated his talent, but he didn't know that it was because of his rival in love. He had always been proud and arrogant. It was the first time in his life that someone had made him feel so dim. Wang Daji had been following him. He was a playboy who only knew how to eat, drink, and have fun. He had never heard of the Midas Investment Company before, nor did he know how high Maldini Jr.'s status was in the financial world. He only knew that Qin Haodong had made the Wang family suffer and lose face. At this time, new hatred and old hatred were added together. He shouted at the security guards next to him, "What are you idiots doing? I told you to drive this toy boy out a long time ago. What are you waiting for?" His idea was simple. He just needed to drive Qin Haodong out. But he didn't expect that things would be completely different now. Maldini Jr. had repeatedly shown his kindness to Qin Haodong, but he wanted to drive him out. It was obvious that he didn't want to give Maldini Jr. face. Sure enough, Maldini Jr.'s face suddenly became cold. He waved to the bodyguards around him and said, "Protect Mr. Medical Sage." The bodyguards of the Jiangnan Club had just been scolded, so they immediately rushed up to fight. However, they were no match for Maldini Jr.'s bodyguards. The tall and strong special forces quickly put down more than a dozen bodyguards. Wang Desheng came to his senses and quickly stopped the bodyguards of the Wang family. Maldini Jr. said angrily, "Wang Desheng, what are you doing?" Wang Desheng quickly explained, "I'm sorry, Mr. Maldini Jr., you misunderstood. My brother didn't do this to you. You know what? Mr. Medical Sage is my idol and the best friend of our Maldini family. How dare you do this to him? This is a challenge to our family." He pointed at Wang Desheng's nose and spoke angrily. His saliva sprayed on Wang Desheng's face, but Wang Desheng could only endure it. He didn't dare to show any dissatisfaction, because Maldini Jr. was someone the Wang family couldn't afford to provoke. Wang Daji was about to say something, but he was immediately stopped by Wang Hating. He knew the consequences of angering Maldini Jr. Qin Haodong said, "Mr. Maldini Jr., since we're not welcome here, let's leave." Maldini Jr. said, "Mr. Medical Sage, can you tell me what happened here?" Qin Haodong glanced at Wang Desheng and Wang Hating. Their hearts immediately trembled, and they had a bad feeling. They didn't expect Qin Haodong to have such a high status in Maldini Jr. They were afraid that the Wang family would be in trouble again. "Just now, the young master of the Wang family pursued my girlfriend in public, but was rejected. He wanted to drive us out and announced that my girlfriend would be removed from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce." In a few simple words, he clearly described what the father and son of the Wang family had just done. Although Wang Desheng wasn't a threat in his eyes, he didn't mind making trouble for his rival in love. B*****. What a B*****. Maldini Jr.'s Huaxia language was really limited, so he could only express his anger with these two words. He turned to look at Wang Desheng and said, "You disappoint me. How could you treat a friend of the Maldini family so rudely?" I now announce that I will completely cancel my investment intention in Haitian Group. Wang Desheng hadn't expected such a result. It wasn't easy to get a chance to cooperate with Maldini Jr., but it was ruined just like that. The reason was that he had provoked Qin Haodong. Wang Hating hurried forward and said, "Mr. Maldini Jr., there's a misunderstanding. I hope you can give our Wang family and Haitian Group another chance. I'm now the president of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce. If you cooperate with Haitian Group, you'll get a lot of help from the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce." The Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce? Maldini Jr. sneered. A small chamber of commerce of the south of the Yangtze River is nothing in our eyes. I now officially announce that the Chamber of Commerce of the south of the Yangtze River is hostile to our company. Any member of the Chamber of Commerce of the south of the Yangtze River will not get the chance to cooperate with us. Wang Hating broke out in a cold sweat. He had originally wanted to increase his family's bargaining chips through the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, but he didn't expect that he would make Maldini Jr. hate him instead. The other members of the Chamber of Commerce had been watching from the sidelines. No matter who won the battle between the Wang family and Qin Haodong, it had nothing to do with them. However, they did not expect that Wang Hating's words would drag them into the ditch. Some of them had wanted to find a chance to get close to Maldini Jr. and strive for as many opportunities as possible to cooperate with him. Now that this idea was completely shattered, they couldn't help but transfer their anger to Wang Hating. At the same time, it also made people very curious. They didn't know what ability Qin Haodong had to make the arrogant Maldini Jr. respect him so much. The Wangs were completely dumbfounded. They didn't come to their senses until Qin Haodong, Maldini Jr., and the others left the Jiangnan Club. They had thought that they were just casually humiliating Qin Haodong, the little doctor. They had never dreamed that they would provoke Maldini Jr. Wang Hating found that the members of the Jiangnan Chamber of Commerce, who had been surrounding him, no longer looked at him with respect. They even looked at him with hatred. They also left the Jiangnan Club. Wang Desheng looked depressed. Wang Daji still hadn't figured out what had happened. He said bitterly, "Father, do you want me to find some people to teach this foreign devil a lesson? You can't do anything right, but you're good at spoiling things." Wang Hating slapped him to the ground and scolded, "Do you know who he is? How dare he do something to Maldini Jr. if you provoke him today? Our family will go bankrupt tomorrow. The day after that, we will have to go begging. From now on, you'll stay at home. Not only can you not provoke Maldini Jr., but you're also not allowed to provoke Qin Haodong." Wang Daji covered his mouth. Only then did he realize what a big mess he had just made. After leaving the Jiangnan Club, Qin Haodong said goodbye to Gao Fengwen and the others. Then, he followed Maldini Jr. to the Hilton Hotel where he was staying. It was a 5-star hotel. Maldini Jr.'s assistant, Alice, had already arranged a room here in advance. When they arrived at Maldini Jr.'s presidential suite, Alice warmly invited Qin Haodong and Lin Momo to sit down. Then, she served them 2 cups of freshly made coffee and helped Maldini Jr. take off his suit. Qin Haodong took a sip of coffee and then looked at Alice up and down. This woman was extremely beautiful and had an unusually hot figure. Her curves were protruding, and the places that were supposed to be curvy were protruding. It was obvious that she had a lot of affection for Maldini Jr. It was a pity that Maldini Jr. didn't respond to her enthusiasm. After chatting for a while, Maldini Jr. said to Lin Momo, "Dear Miss Lin, can I have a word with Mr. Qin alone?" "Of course." Lin Momo stood up and walked into another room under Alice's guidance. There were only 2 people left in the room. Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Mr. Maldini Jr., you can say what you want to say now. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure."